Chapter 1298. The slim woman didn't know why ancient god profound devil had such a reaction, but she still agreed. With her eye of destiny, it was easy for her to steal information from an ancient god who was not a descendant of one of the 8 great god eyes. Bzzz. The slim woman's eyes gazed into the distance, and an intent energy that bystanders could not sense fused with the world and the river of destiny. At a certain moment, the slim woman's eyes began to produce many blurry, multicolored images. Why can't I see them clearly? After a momentary pause, the slim woman put all her strength into her eye of destiny. But a moment later, the multicolored images in her eyes exploded with a primordial divine light. In the face of this divine light, the slim woman felt extremely insignificant, and her soul inexplicably trembled. A moment later, a backlash aimed at her soul, and the eye of destiny descended upon her body. At the same time, all the images in her eye of destiny vanished. On the other end, Zhao Feng suddenly felt like a pair of eyes in the world was staring at him, seemingly able to see into his past and future. Not even Zhao Feng's abilities could stop this spying. But within his god-eye dimension, the dreamy silver ball that had its power sealed suddenly began to radiate with a dazzling divine light. A moment later, the feeling of being spied on suddenly vanished. The eye of destiny, Zhao Feng muttered to himself. He had experienced this feeling before, so he could guess what it was. In addition, he could faintly sense a connection. Zhao Feng imperceptibly glanced down at a certain spot out of the corner of his eye. Oof. The slim woman snorted, her face ghastly pale as she wiped away the trickle of blood that had seeped out of the corner of her mouth. Let's go. The slim woman called out as she swiftly departed. Ancient god Profound Devil was alarmed, but he ignored everything and left. Ancient god Profound Devil had long ago become accustomed to trusting the slim woman's decision. After all, she was the owner of the Eye of Destiny. The two of them traveled some distance away. What's wrong? Ancient god Profound Devil immediately asked. I failed. The slim woman grimaced. How could this be? Ancient god Profound Devil was flabbergasted. It seemed like his companion hadn't seen anything. He might have some sort of special divine artifact or item on him that can prevent people from peeping into his fate. The slim woman pondered for a moment before replying. Her Eye of Destiny didn't see anything. This was the first time she had encountered such a situation. However, she didn't even know the reason, so she could only come up with this explanation. There's such a treasure? Ancient god Profound Devil began to think. It seemed like that person had many secrets. But I can confirm one thing. His eye has reached the quasi-god eye level. The slim woman said solemnly. How could that be? He's so young, and his eye bloodline isn't even one of the 8 great god eyes. So how could he reach such a level? Ancient god Profound Devil was flabbergasted. Although they had acquired their eye bloodlines, their usage of them was even better than those with innate eye bloodlines. Even so, only a few of them had reached that level, and then their statuses had risen and their whereabouts were unknown. That's perfect. He's also one of the targets this time. Perhaps the higher-ups will be interested in his eyes. Ancient god Profound Devil suddenly grimaced and sneered. Everyone's pretty much here. I'll let you go first. I need to rest for a few days. The thin woman's face was dark as she left. God Eye competition ground. Congratulations, you've won. The reward is 50 wind profound crystals. The referee handed the reward he had prepared to Zhao Feng. 50. Zhao Feng was taken aback. He hadn't expected for this many. In truth, if he had just one, he could use his god to duplicate it and mass-produce it. However, he had sealed his origin energy, so his duplication ability was probably greatly limited. It's fortunate that this was the case, or else I might have been seen through just now. Zhao Feng quietly said to himself. He had to be on guard against the Eye of Destiny. Damn you, brat. Ancient god-departed spirit's sinister eyes stared at Zhao Feng. He had received a mysterious mission that required him to first see his strength, but he had lost to someone else in this competition. If this happened, he might even lose this important mission. At this moment, ancient God-departed spirit's brow twitched, and he sent his mind into his interspatial dimension to receive a message. Ancient God-departed spirit breathed a sigh of relief. His strength had met the other party's requirements. "Brat, let's spar again next time." After saying this, ancient God-departed spirit left. The surrounding crowd stared in shock at Zhao Feng. They originally believed that ancient God-departed spirit was certain to win, but in the end, even ancient God-departed spirit was defeated. After receiving his reward, Zhao Feng left the competition ground. "Zhao Feng, don't clash with ancient God-departed spirit. Although you won the competition, it's hard to say what you'll do in battle. After all, he's skilled in death intent, so it's best not to provoke him." Xiahou Wu suggested, "I need a batch of precious cultivation resources. I plan to go to various places to collect them." Zhao Feng nodded and said, "Then let's part ways for now." Xiahou Wu naturally understood the meaning behind Zhao Feng's words and took the initiative to speak. The two parted ways, but Xiahou Wu seemed to be very interested in the God-Eye competition ground and continued to stay. Whoosh! Zhao Feng transformed into a streak of golden light as he flew through the gathering area. In truth, when the competition ended, Zhao Feng had already received a message from that mysterious person. The other party had directly stated the location of the meeting. Thus, Zhao Feng was in such a hurry to leave. When he accepted this mission, he had signed a contract that prevented him from revealing this matter, so he could only make up a lie. He quickly arrived at a high class and surrounded by mountains and forests. Entering, Zhao Feng found an ordinary room and knocked on the door. "Please enter," a deep voice called out as Zhao Feng pushed open the door and entered. The room was gloomy, with only a few weak points of light. It appeared to be a special isolation array, but this did not affect Zhao Feng's vision. There were 3 people in the room: a beautiful woman with heavenly fragrance and beauty, a short-haired middle-aged man with a cold expression, and a black-clothed youth with a gloomy expression and pitch-black eyes. "That's the last person?" The soft voice of a woman and a short-haired middle-aged man next to her all looked at Zhao Feng. His strength should be all right. The beautiful woman paused for a few moments on Zhao Feng's eyes, and upon realizing that they were not of the 8 great god eyes, she tactfully said, "It's the Xiling zones." "Zhao Feng." The short-haired man glanced at Zhao Feng for a few moments and then directly said, Zhao Feng nodded. This short-haired man was Lin Chengwu, whom he had first met in the God-Eye competition ground. He recognized Zhao Feng, perhaps because of his fame, or perhaps because of young Master Hai. The beautiful woman's expression did not change. It was clear that she did not know who Zhao Feng was. But when she saw that Lin Chengwu recognized Zhao Feng, she was certain that Zhao Feng could not be some nameless person, so she said no more. "I am ancient God Black Extreme, the mission issuer," the pitch-black man indifferently said. After that, he briefly introduced everyone to each other. "Since you're all here, I presume that everyone hopes to explore those ruins with me," the black-clothed ancient God Black Extreme said. Zhao Feng instantly knew that this was the person who had issued the mission. "Let's get to the point first." The beautiful woman chuckled and went straight to the point. Lin Chengwu nodded. Just like Zhao Feng, they did not completely trust ancient God Black Extreme. They had only come here to gather more information so that they could make a final judgment. "Then I'll get straight to the point. I suspect that this is a ruin from the ancient era, perhaps even the ancient era, where the descendants of the 8 great god eyes lived. I explored it alone, and the dangers I encountered were manageable." Ancient God Black Extreme slowly said. The other 3 slightly frowned, but they said nothing. Of course, there were some dangers that were beyond my ability to deal with, but I managed to avoid them all. If the 4 of us travel together, based on everyone's opinion, we'll choose the most dangerous places to explore. As long as we're careful and quickly retreat when we encounter trouble we can't deal with, there won't be any major problems. Ancient God Black Extreme's expression darkened as he spoke. "What faction do you belong to? Why didn't you report this matter to the faction you belong to?" Lin Chengwu suddenly asked. Ancient God Black Extreme's faction was extraordinary, but they had never seen it before, so they were rather curious. There are many hidden factions in the ancient desolate realm of gods, but I can't divulge this information. If I were to report this ruin to the faction behind me, the benefits I would obtain would probably be much less than if we explored it together. Ancient God Black Extreme gave a greedy smile. Since that's the case, you can slowly explore it alone and reap the benefits. Why invite us? The beautiful woman's eyes flashed. The dimension of this ruin is getting more and more unstable. It probably won't be long before it is exposed to the world. Thus, I plan to invite all of you to excavate as much as you can before the ruin is exposed. Ancient God Black Extreme indifferently said. The group chatted for a long time, during which Zhao Feng asked a few questions. How about it? Accept or give up? Ancient God Black Extreme faintly smiled as he looked at the trio. I'll go. Lin Qingwu was the first to agree. Soon after, the beautiful woman also chose to accept. All of them were extremely interested in the ruins of the 8 great god-eye descendants that ancient God Black Extreme had mentioned. I'm fine with it. Zhao Feng expressed his stance. Based on what he understood just now, this matter truly wasn't too big of a problem, and the level of danger wasn't too bad. The group decided on a time to set out and left. Once they were gone, the room regained its light, and a faint fragrance wafted through the air. After a long while, a door opened not far from the room that Zhao Feng's group had just left. After that, a lively and delightful young girl in green clothes leaped out from within. Her skin was soft and creamy. Her exquisite features were beautiful and lively, and her pair of white eyes were full of vigor and vitality, making her seem innocent and pure. Her appearance immediately attracted the attention of many men in the vicinity. However, their eyes suddenly widened, revealing expressions of shock and infatuation. It turned out that within that room, another tall and slender woman in white slowly walked out. She had a head of fine black hair that cascaded down like a waterfall. Her face was ethereal and beautiful, and her pair of serene and deep white eyes seemed to be able to see through everything in the world. She quietly stood there like a noble fairy from a beautiful landscape painting, causing one's mind to waver. Compared to her, the beautiful young lady from before seemed to pale in comparison. Big Sister Qin, you said that you were waiting here for someone, but we still haven't seen anyone. Are we going to leave? The lively and adorable girl asked. We've already seen them, and our business is done. It's time to go back. The white-clothed girl calmly smiled. Is that so? Big Sister Qin's eye of destiny is getting more and more unfathomable. The young girl looked up and revealed a puzzled expression. She then said enviously. Then the 2 devastatingly beautiful women floated away. Chapter 1299. After leaving, Zhao Feng casually strolled around the God-Eye Assembly. After buying a few cultivation resources, Zhao Feng found Xiahou Wu and informed him that he was leaving early. Xiahou Wu was flabbergasted, but seeing that Zhao Feng had no intention of giving a detailed explanation, he didn't ask any more questions. Zhao Feng then returned to his residence and entered the space-time road dimension to cultivate for a while. One day, he received an order from ancient God Black Extreme to get up and leave. The God-Eye Assembly was an independent dimension, so one naturally had to leave through a teleportation array. However, in order to prevent too many people from leaving at the end of the God-Eye Assembly, there were many teleportation arrays. Moreover, the teleportation arrays were random, and the teleportation locations were within 2 designated zones. Before Zhao Feng even reached the teleportation hall, he saw ancient God Black Extreme's group. Let's go. Once Zhao Feng arrived, ancient God Black Extreme called out, and the group vanished in a flash of light. A moment later, Zhao Feng's group of 4 appeared in the air above a swamp in the Xiling Zone. The ruins aren't far from here, ancient God Black Extreme straightforwardly said, and then he led the way. Following that, the group flew at an extremely fast speed for more than 10 days, and only stopped when they arrived at a vast forest in the wilderness. This is the place, ancient God Black Extreme said. Zhao Feng, Lin Qingwu, and the beautiful girl all felt their minds tremble. They were about to enter the God Eye ruins. If they encountered some sort of opportunity in there, their eye bloodlines would advance by leaps and bounds, and their strength would soar. Whoosh! Ancient God Black Extreme burrowed into the earth, and Zhao Feng's group followed. After descending a certain distance, Ancient God Black Extreme took out a black stone plate covered in profound inscriptions. Given their experience, they could tell that these were the characters of the Heaven's Legacy race. Ancient God Black Extreme formed a spell, circulated his divine power, and then slapped the plate. The black stone plate suddenly exploded with a layer of black light. Boom! Suddenly, the ground began to shake. Not far in front of them, a powerful space profundity surged. A concealment array. Zhao Feng's eyes flashed. Ancient God Black Extreme began to pour in more energy, causing small tadpole-like characters to surge out from the stone plate. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Slowly, a space crack appeared in the area where space power Upanishad fluctuated. Tearing space. The beautiful young woman was slightly startled. I told you that this space is very fragile, and those with too high a cultivation might not be able to enter it. However, it won't be too difficult for us to open up a sliver of a rift with our special tools, Ancient God Black Extreme immediately said. Buzz! White tadpole characters kept surging out of the black stone plate. Open! Ancient God Black Extreme once more poured his energy into the black stone plate. The tiny spatial crack also tore open a little bit. A moment later, a hole large enough for one person to pass through appeared. Whoosh! 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 Only after Zhao Feng's group of 3 entered did Ancient God Black Extreme rush in. As soon as the group entered the unfamiliar space, they immediately felt a chaotic aura descending upon them, causing them to hold their breaths. In front of him was a thick and gloomy mist. The world was dark and boundless, and all around him were piles of rubble of various sizes. In this place, divine sense was hindered by the gloomy mist and could not even see as far as the naked eye. We're currently on the perimeter of these ruins. There's basically no treasure here. After saying this, Ancient God Black Extreme began to lead the way. Whoosh! The group rose up and flew up, all of them rather impatient. Get down! At this moment, Ancient God Black Extreme suddenly called out. What's wrong? The beautiful young woman's brow creased. Of the group, she was the most worried about Ancient God Black Extreme, so she was extremely wary of him. Even in the perimeter, there are many Yao gods. Although they aren't very strong, there are many of them, and they all have ruthless temperaments. Ancient God Black Extreme immediately said. At this moment, the group's high-profile flight caused several powerful ripples of energy to appear nearby. There are foreign creatures. Kill them. It's been a long time since I've eaten meat. In the distance, the group could hear several excited and brutal roars. Afterward, Yao gods of various colors and shapes emerged from the ruins, exuding frenzied and ruthless expressions as they flew toward the group. What's there to be afraid of? They're just low-level Yao gods. The beautiful young woman landed and whispered. Moreover, killing Yao gods could obtain the intent crystals in their bodies. Can those low-level intent crystals compare to the treasures in the center of the ruins? Even if you want to kill, you should go hunt down those rank 7 Yao gods. Ancient God Black Extreme's expression darkened as he coldly rebuked. At this moment, 8 Yao gods had already arrived around the group, but they maintained a certain distance. Of these 8 Yao gods, one resembled the Eye of Death, and its aura was the strongest at rank 6. The other Yao gods were much weaker. Boom! Shio! Swoosh! All the Yao gods maintained their distance as they used eye bloodline techniques to attack Ancient God Black Extreme's group of 4. In a flash, rays of light, ice, and fire, accompanied by both physical and soul attacks, bombarded the group. Leave it to me. The beautiful woman grunted, her calm eyes immediately surging with astonishing eye bloodline energy. Her eyes became dark and gloomy, and a black circle slowly emerged within them. It was obvious that she had used a secret art to conceal the phenomena of her eye bloodline. The Eye of Samsara. Zhao Feng's eyes flashed. None of the others were pushovers. The beautiful woman had the Eye of Samsara and many battle-ready automatons. Zhao Feng had also witnessed Lin Qingwu's strength, and he was extremely strong. But what Zhao Feng feared the most was ancient God Black Extreme, who possessed the Eye of Death. Bzzz. The beautiful woman's Eye of Samsara slowly began to turn, and a dark yellow ripple of intent energy rippled out. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 3 figures of different shapes and sizes emerged from her eyes, all of them Samsara immortal bodies. The moment the 3 of them appeared, they immediately used their powerful combat skills to block the attacks from all around them. Let's go first. Leave this to them, the beautiful woman straightforwardly said. Everyone understood what she meant. Samsara immortal bodies were immortal and indestructible. Even if they were surrounded and killed by many Yao gods, they would be revived by the beautiful woman's Eye of Samsara. Moreover, these Samsara immortal bodies were only rank 5 and rank 6 true gods. Whoosh! Ancient God Black Extreme continued to lead the way, and the others followed. A Yao god with a faint red eye prepared to attack the group. Spatial Flash Blade. Lin Qingwu's gaze flickered, and a translucent white crystal blade slashed out, killing the Fey god. The group then concealed their auras and ripples as they traveled across the surface. Ancient God Black Extreme had explored this area before, so he was extremely familiar with the route and avoided the areas with the most Yao gods. Even so, it was inevitable that a few Yao gods would be alarmed. But the moment these Yao gods appeared, Lin Qingwu's Eye of Space-Time would slay them. Suddenly, the ruins in the rear exploded, and a massive dark purple eye shot out. Everyone's faces chilled. This Yao god's energy was at the peak of rank 6. Intruder die. The purple Yao god immediately attacked Zhao Feng, who was at the very back of the group. The other 2 members of the group said nothing, but they kept a close eye on Zhao Feng. Bzzz. A dreamy mist flowed through Zhao Feng's left eye as illusion Dao energy began to seep out. The next moment, the ruthless Yao god froze on the spot, motionless. Illusion Dao eye bloodline technique. Everyone was alarmed, but Ancient God Black Extreme was the most surprised. Based on his intelligence reports, Zhao Feng's eye was skilled in perception and space-time eye bloodline techniques, but now he was displaying a formidable mastery of illusion arts. This left him extremely confused. Eye bloodlines could only develop in one direction, but Zhao Feng's eye seemed to be skilled in everything. Several days later, Ancient God Black Extreme's footsteps began to slow down. Okay, we're approaching the center of the ruins. Ancient God Black Extreme stopped. Now, it was surrounded by large ruins, with large, broken, and incomplete buildings. The buildings of the Heaven's Legacy race are also related to the 8 great god eyes. Zhao Feng's expression darkened. He had once entered a city of the Heaven's Legacy race and had a deep understanding of it. In his view, the buildings here were probably personally built by the Heaven's Legacy race, but the Yao gods here were all related to the 8 great god eyes. This filled Zhao Feng's mind with questions. When I was exploring this place, I discovered 3 treasure grounds, but I wasn't strong enough to explore them. Ancient God Black Extreme whispered. Then, he displayed the situation of the 3 treasured lands in the form of a video. The first was the black pool of water that Ancient God Black Extreme had shown to Zhao Feng in the secret exchange castle. Many black, rhombus-shaped crystals floated within it. The second was a dilapidated building suffused with a strange fragrance. Ancient God Black Extreme hadn't gotten very close to it, but he had already discovered a rank 7 Yao god. There were probably even stronger existences within. The third place was a huge steel building. The unique ripples coming from it were extraordinary, and there were many Yao immortals around it. In the end, after some discussion, they decided to go to the first treasure ground. This was because that place seemed to be the least dangerous. Okay. Ancient God Black Extreme faintly smiled as he began to lead the way. Zhao Feng was constantly on guard, including his teammates. Suddenly, Zhao Feng focused his eyes on a certain place in the distance. Eh. Zhao Feng couldn't help but show a hint of surprise as he paused. What's wrong? The beautiful girl in front of him immediately asked. There's someone in that direction. Zhao Feng's expression darkened as he whispered. These words caused the other three to tremble in shock. There was someone else here besides the four of them? After a moment of surprise, the beautiful girl and Lin Chengwu stared with deep hostility at ancient god Black Extreme. What are you looking at me for? Although I was the one who brought you here, I'll spread the news of these ruins so that others can come and explore it. Ancient god Black Extreme had an innocent look on his face. Zhao Feng, you might be mistaken. This place is dim, and divine sense is hindered. Ancient god Black Extreme looked at Zhao Feng, a cold light flashing through his eyes. The beautiful girl and Lin Chengwu's expressions slightly relaxed as they looked in the direction Zhao Feng had indicated. The chaotic and violent energy drifting through the world greatly interfered with divine sense, so it was better to use one's eyes to see further. Moreover, they were all God-Eye descendants, so they had better eyesight than normal people. But they saw nothing. The beautiful girl and Lin Chengwu looked at Zhao Feng with wariness in their eyes. Perhaps that's the case. Zhao Feng felt a little wronged. This was all he could say. His left eye possessed extremely powerful see-through and long-range vision, and after his god eye transformed into dreamy silver, these abilities were greatly enhanced, allowing him to see up to 300,000 to 400,000 li. The group continued forward, but none of them were calm, each with their own thoughts. It really wasn't that simple. Zhao Feng's expression darkened, and he couldn't help but become even more wary. Chapter 1300. After a while, a ruined building as tall as a mountain appeared in front of them. Just by looking at this ruined building, they could sense just how vast and mysterious it had been when it was whole. Under ancient god Black Extreme's lead, the group entered a small hole and burrowed into the ground. At first, they were surrounded by steel and stone, and the passage was narrow. But after a little while, they were surrounded by a complete crystalline wall. Although these ruins have been destroyed, the area below is still completely intact. The young lady's eyes flashed with sharp light. Meanwhile, Zhao Feng's eyes were carefully inspecting every inch in front of him. He discovered that the walls were extremely tough. Even a punch from him would be unable to leave a mark. Moreover, the walls had a significant effect on blocking divine sense. But what Zhao Feng was thinking about was just what had happened here. Just who could have reduced such a massive and sturdy building to such a state? This should have been a building built by the Heaven's Legacy race. So why haven't we run into any arrays or traps? After traveling for some time, Zhao Feng finally voiced his doubts. The young lady and Lin Chengwu also had doubtful looks on their faces. They had heard a few things about the Heaven's Legacy race's cities and legacies. Other than a few open areas, the rest of the area was heavily guarded by traps and arrays. Outsiders would find it very difficult to advance. I just so happen to be skilled in a few mechanisms and arrays. The path we're taking just happens to be one that I solved before. Ancient God Black Extreme flatly said. Lin Chengwu and the young lady were both startled. In the ruins of the Heaven's Legacy race, Ancient God Black Extreme was skilled in mechanisms and arrays, giving him an advantage over everyone else. They needed to be on their guard. The group quickly arrived in front of a violet crystal door. There was a layer of light purple array formation barrier above it, sealing the entrance. Through the barrier, everyone could clearly see that behind them was an extremely wide space with silver-gray steel walls. There was a black pool in the center and black liquid flowed in it. Occasionally, a few black diamond-shaped crystals would float on the edge of the pool. The barrier made it impossible for them to sense any energy, so they couldn't determine what this black pool of water was. However, these black crystals were undoubtedly intent crystals. This barrier contains Heaven's Legacy arrays and mechanisms. I know how to solve it, but I found it very difficult to do it alone. Now that all of you are here, solving the array won't be too difficult. A smile appeared on ancient God Black Extreme's cold and sinister face. "What should I do?" the beautiful young lady immediately asked. Ancient God Black Extreme told his method to the others. This mechanism array was extremely unique, containing both mechanisms and arrays. Back then, Ancient God Black Extreme was only one person, so he could only use one of them at the same time, so he was unable to break it. When the time comes, after I've deciphered the mechanism, the two of you will attack the 3 important points of the formation. After saying this, Ancient God Black Extreme took out the black stone plate and began to dispel the mechanism. The other 3 were each responsible for a key point of the formation. Whoosh! Whoosh! Countless tiny characters surged out of the black disk and burrowed into the huge purple crystal door. Immediately, the blurry patterns near the stone door shone with a dazzling light. Rumbling sounds could be heard coming from within, and the power of the formation before them seemed to have weakened significantly. At this moment, the 3 of them attacked simultaneously. Boom! When the formation shattered, a strong, deathly aura surged over. Just this aura of death was enough to kill a rank 1 true god. This pawn contains the power of death ultimacy. It's a death ultimacy crystal. The beautiful young lady was somewhat disappointed, but she still followed the others into the pool. Although death ultimacy crystals were useless to her and Lin Chengwu, these ultimacy crystals were of extremely high level. Moreover, death ultimacy was extremely rare, so ultimacy crystals were extremely valuable. They were more than enough to exchange for a large number of ultimacy crystals that they needed. The group entered, but Zhao Feng and Ancient God Black Extreme's footsteps slightly slowed. Boom! Suddenly, the black water in the pond exploded into the air, and a powerful, deathly aura swept through the area. The beautiful young lady who was relatively close was splashed with quite a bit of the black water. Many parts of her body immediately turned gray and began to slowly wither away, ruining her figure and beauty. When Lin Chengwu saw this, he relied on his profound space intent to dodge. Damn! The beautiful young lady grimaced. Death ultimacy was extremely unique. Even though she was a samsara, immortal body, she found it very difficult to quickly repair the parts of her body that had been corroded by death ultimacy. Seeking death. You actually dare to come here? A furious roar, seething with death energy, resounded through the air. A huge black eye slowly floated up from the black pond. There were some pale white spots on it that pulsed eerily. This eye was in the shape of an eye of death, and it was 80% similar to a real eye of death. Around the black eye, there were a few black tentacles that extended into the black pool below. A rank 7 Yao god dares to act so impudently? The beautiful young lady was rather angry. Her eyes began to revolve, and a dark yellow mist emerged as an ancient god, samsara, immortal body appeared. This is simply an eye of death with intelligence. Lin Chengwu's eyes gleamed. Everyone knew that the birth of Yao gods was related to their surroundings and special objects. The Yao gods of these ruins were all in the shape of eyes. The Yao god before them could already be considered an eye of death. Everyone couldn't help but be curious as to just what sort of secret was hidden in these ruins related to the 8 great god eyes that allowed so many Yao gods to be born. Together, long-range attacks. Don't get too close. Ancient God Black Extreme suddenly bellowed. Everyone understood Ancient God Black Extreme's meaning. The black liquid in the pond contained death intent energy. Even an ancient god would be severely affected if they touched it. Chaotic Void Blade. Lin Chengwu's eyes flashed with silver light as countless white crystal blades began to condense in the air. Swoosh! In a flash, these countless white crystal blades had already begun to cut at the Eye of Death Yao God's body. Black Torn Extreme Light. Wind Lightning Eye Flame. Ancient God Black Extreme, and Zhao Feng also used eye bloodline techniques to attack the Eye of Death. On the other side, the Samsara immortal body, summoned by the beautiful young lady, gripped a golden sword and unleashed several massive bolts of light. Oh, whoa. The Eye of Death Yao God let out a miserable shriek as it was struck by the attacks of the four at the same time, which included both physical and spiritual attacks. Its body dimmed a little. Unforgivable. The Eye of Death Yao God was enraged, unleashing waves of death energy into its surroundings. Other than ancient God Black Extreme, everyone else hurriedly circulated their divine power to defend. Boom! The Eye of Death Yao God's aura suddenly soared, as if all the injuries it had just suffered had disappeared. At the same time, the enormous Eye of Death shot out thousands of black threads. Swoosh! The black filaments shone on the surrounding steel walls, leaving dark gray dents. Swoosh! Lin Chengwu and Zhao Feng flickered back and forth in space, easily dodging everything. You can also use spatial blink. Lin Chengwu had a look of surprise on his face. On the other side, the beautiful young woman summoned many samsara immortal bodies to protect her. As a death god I descended. Ancient God Black Extreme was the only person capable of directly resisting death attacks. Everyone should have noticed that this Yao Immortal is able to absorb the power of the death nectar in the pool. Unless we kill it instantly, it will quickly recover, Meng Chao said. Ancient God Black Extreme hurriedly said. Everyone nodded. They had discovered this a long time ago, but there was nothing they could do about it. They couldn't touch the pond water at all. Moreover, the value of the pond water was equivalent to the death intent crystals within it. It was the best cultivation resource for death intent cultivators, and none of them wanted to give up on this resource. In addition, there was a path behind the steel dimension, but it was covered in traps and arrays. If they wanted to pass through, they had to be very careful. If this Yao God got in the way, they might lose their lives to the traps. I actually have a way to move this Black Death nectar somewhere else. Ancient God Black Extreme suddenly gave a sinister laugh. Impossible. Lin Chengwu immediately rejected the idea. He had just tried to use space intent to move the death nectar away from the pond water. However, the moment his space intent entered the water, it would be destroyed by death intent, causing the energy to become unstable and preventing the transfer. Have you forgotten that the descendants of the 8 great god eyes all have their own origin dimension? And the origin dimension of my Eye of Death is a death dimension. It essentially contains some death origin energy. Ancient God Black Extreme began to explain. When everyone heard this, they instantly understood that this method was indeed feasible. However, the beautiful woman and Lin Chengwu did not say anything for a long time. Of the 4 present, only Ancient God Black Extreme's death dimension could hold the Black Death nectar. However, they naturally didn't feel good about allowing Ancient God Black Extreme to take away such a precious cultivation resource. All of you hold it down for now. Let me move the death nectar in the pond water into the death dimension. Ancient God Black Extreme gave a sinister smile. He then activated his Eye of Death, creating a powerful suction force that began to absorb the Black Death nectar. On the other side, the beautiful woman and Lin Chengwu remained silent, clearly agreeing. Slow down. Zhao Feng suddenly spoke. What? You don't agree with my method? I'm thinking for everyone's sake, and none of you can take away this death nectar. Ancient God Black Extreme jeered. I wholeheartedly agree. Zhao Feng smiled. Then you're still? Ancient God Black Extreme was rather angry. If this kid agreed, then why did he stop? What was the meaning of this? But before he could finish speaking, a cold black figure appeared at Zhao Feng's side. His right eye was shockingly the Eye of Death. Zhao Feng, you told someone else about this matter? After a few moments of shock, Ancient God Black Extreme suddenly bellowed. Lin Chengwu and the beautiful woman also stared in shock at Zhao Feng. Oomph, we signed a contract. If I told someone else, would I still be standing here unscathed? Zhao Feng had a look of disdain on his face. The others nodded. This truly was the case, but why? He's my clone. Zhao Feng answered their questions. A clone can also possess the Eye of Death. It seems like your secret clone art is extremely special. The beautiful lady's eyes sparkled, and she was extremely interested in Zhao Feng's secret clone technique. BZZ. At this moment, Zhao Wang began to imitate ancient god Black Extreme, using the Eye of Death to absorb the black pond water. A trifling rank 5 true gods origin dimension probably can't hold this level of death nectar. Aren't you afraid that the death dimension will be damaged? Ancient god Black Extreme mentally sneered. Chapter 1301. Haha, a trifling rank 5 true gods origin space probably can't hold this level of death liquid. Aren't you afraid that the death space will be damaged? Ancient god Black Extreme mentally sneered. Even he didn't dare to absorb too much of the death liquid too quickly. After all, the origin dimension was related to the Eye of Death. Once it was damaged, the Eye of Death would be heavily injured as well. But a moment later, ancient god Black Extreme's expression froze. Zhao Wang's Eye of Death spun crazily, and it was like a giant black whirlpool sucking away the death water in the pond. Its absorption speed was much faster than ancient god Black Extreme's. How is this possible? Is he really not afraid of death? Ancient god Black Extreme's body went stiff in shock. On the other side, Zhao Feng, Lin Chengwu, and the beautiful woman were keeping the Eye of Death Yao God busy. Lin Chengwu and Lin Chengwu also discovered Zhao Wang's uniqueness. Compared to ancient god Black Extreme, they hoped that Zhao Wang would get the majority of the death liquid. Ancient god Black Extreme, why are you so slow? You're even slower than Zhao Feng's clone. The beautiful girl's charming laugh made ancient god Black Extreme's face turn ashen. Zhao Wang smiled and said nothing. Although he had only recently become a rank 5 ancient god, the Staff of Death Curse, the high-level resources of the ancient dream realm, and the guidance of an expert had allowed him to reach the peak of rank 5, not far from rank 6. At that moment, he had already obtained the initial recognition of the Staff of Death Curse and could unleash a portion of its power. Inside the death dimension, every drop of death liquid that entered would automatically flow around the Staff of Death Curse. After spinning once, it flowed into the Staff of Death Curse. The Staff of Death Curse had been sealed under the God Seal tablet for many years, and its power had been greatly reduced. The death liquid was a great tonic for it. While absorbing the death liquid, the Staff of Death Curse would also lower a portion of the death liquid's quality and place in the death space for Zhao Wang's use. Between the two, it was mutually beneficial. What's going on? Unless his Eye of Death has reached the quasi-god eye level, how else could he endure it? Ancient god Black Extreme was constantly observing Zhao Wang. Previously, he thought that Zhao Wang didn't know much about this, which was why he dared to absorb it. However, even after such a long time had passed, there was still no change to the other party. The rate at which he was absorbing the death liquid was still the same. At this moment, ancient god Black Extreme's death dimension was already showing signs of reaching its limit. After a while, ancient god Black Extreme was forced to stop absorbing. After glancing at Zhao Wang, he sat down cross-legged and began to refine the energy. However, when he opened his eyes again, there wasn't much death water left in the pond. The surface of the pond was filled with death profound crystals. On the other side, the Eye of Death Yao God that was being held back by Zhao Feng and the others was gradually weakening. It's dying, Zhao Feng said in a low voice, then moved a few steps forward. Lin Chengwu and the beautiful young woman's expressions changed slightly. They moved closer to the pool to ensure that they would be able to obtain more benefits when the time came. At a certain moment, the three of them simultaneously attacked the Eye of Death Yao God. Boom! The Eye of Death Yao God's body gradually faded and then exploded. Whoosh! The beautiful young woman and Lin Chengwu began to run toward the dried-up pond. Zhao Feng pretended to approach the pond. His left eye focused on a certain place where the Eye of Death Yao God had collapsed. A spatial vortex slowly emerged. Above the spatial vortex was a pitch-black rhombus-shaped crystal that exuded thick death energy. This was the intent crystal inside the Eye of Death Yao God's body. But with Zhao Feng's eyes, he could see that within this rhombus-shaped crystal was a round ball, similar to an eye. It seemed like Zhao Feng was about to take this rhombus-shaped crystal. But ancient god Black Extreme's figure suddenly appeared nearby. He extended a claw, and the black mist around it exerted a powerful suction force that pulled the intent crystal out of Zhao Feng's range. This person's goal is... Zhao Feng's expression darkened as he used space intent to blink away. His left eye had noticed that this black rhombus-shaped crystal was rather unique, so he wanted to obtain it. But Ancient God Black Extreme's goal from the start seemed to be the intent crystal inside the Yao God's body. Swish! Swish! Zhao Feng blinked away again and again as he approached the rhombus-shaped crystal and grabbed it. Brother Zhao has quite the skill. Ancient God Black Extreme saw that Zhao Feng had already obtained the intent crystal, so he made no further moves. On the other side, Lin Shengwu and the beautiful girl also stopped what they were doing and looked at Zhao Feng and Ancient God Black Extreme. Zhao Feng, what did you get? The four of us are working together for now, but you want to take all the good stuff for yourself? The two of them naturally knew that they had missed out on an even more precious treasure. This is the profundity crystal from the monster god's body. Its quality is much higher than the profundity crystals in the pool. If you are willing to give this profundity crystal to me, I will not take the profundity crystals in the pool. Zhao Feng showed no hesitation as he took out the intent crystal he had just obtained and showed it off. After saying this, Zhao Feng turned to Ancient God Black Extreme. In their view, the intent crystal in Zhao Feng's hand was just as he said, just of a slightly higher quality than the other intent crystals. But Ancient God Black Extreme seemed to know something. It depended on whether or not he was willing to talk about it. If he didn't talk, the other two wouldn't object, so the intent crystal would end up in Zhao Feng's hands. But Ancient God Black Extreme's final words surprised Zhao Feng. I have no objections. Ancient God Black Extreme very casually said. But inside, Ancient God Black Extreme was coldly chuckling. Even if you can obtain everything here for now, it'll be mine when the time comes. Lin Shengwu and the beautiful young woman did not need these profundity crystals. They only saw the value of these profundity crystals. After weighing the pros and cons, they finally agreed. They felt that the one they needed to be the most wary of was Ancient God Black Extreme. Since Ancient God Black Extreme didn't care, they had no need to press Zhao Feng. In the end, Zhao Feng smoothly obtained the special intent crystal. Before placing it in his interspatial dimension, Zhao Feng activated his left eye and carefully examined it. He discovered that there was an eye of death within the intent crystal. Could the eye of death have mutated into a Yao god after the experts here died? Zhao Feng was confused for a few moments, but he put the matter to rest. Although he had only obtained this special intent crystal, Zhao Wang had also absorbed a large amount of death liquid. In the end, Zhao Feng had gained the most out of the group. The death intent crystal in the pool was quickly divided up by the other three. Only a few broken items were left, such as withered herbs and ores that had been drained of energy. Let's go. There's a path up ahead that should lead us to some other important place. Ancient God Black Extreme immediately said as he led the way. But the moment they reached this path, Ancient God Black Extreme stopped and began to advance step by step. I've already destroyed all the traps along the way, so we can proceed as we please, but we need to be careful from now on. It's best if you don't touch anything. Ancient God Black Extreme solemnly said. The others nodded. They didn't know what sort of divine being had lived in this place, but had at least far surpassed their current level. They had no doubt that the traps here could instantly obliterate them. If Ancient God Black Extreme weren't skilled in mechanisms and arrays, they might have given up on exploring. After advancing for a little while, they encountered several forks in the road, but they knew nothing about them, so they could only let Ancient God Black Extreme make the choice. Along the way, they passed several rooms of various sizes. Some of them had been completely destroyed, but some Yao gods were still hiding within. In some of these dimensions, they discovered many precious resources containing death intent. Could this place have been the residence of a powerful Eye of Death descendant? The beautiful young woman's expression was somewhat impatient. Up to this point, they had only encountered things related to death power Upanishad, which irritated her a lot. That shouldn't be possible. We encountered quite a few Yao gods with destruction intent and life intent on the outside. Lin Cheng-Wu flatly said, "Everyone, these ruins are extremely large. There's no need to rush." Ancient God Black Extreme faintly smiled. The others nodded. At the very least, from the outside, these ruins truly did appear to be enormous. The obstacles of the mechanisms and arrays made their progress extremely slow, so they had probably explored less than 1% of the ruins. At this moment, above the ruins, nearly 10 figures floated over, their leader like a tower, his golden eyes extremely resolute. "Ancient God, giant spirit, it's right below us." A young man with dark golden skin spoke with a smile on his face. This person was none other than the ancient god Gilded Gold, who had almost defeated all the remaining members of the spiritual race in the gambling match. "The source of destruction energy in my body is a fortuitous encounter from these ruins, but it's so heavily guarded that I don't have the strength to continue exploring it." Ancient God Gilded Gold continued. When he was out adventuring, he accidentally stumbled upon this place and obtained all sorts of fortuitous encounters, allowing him to break through into the ancient god level. In the end, he returned to his race and became the trump card of the gambling match. Alas, he ended up losing to Zhao Feng. "We came prepared this time. At the very least, we'll be able to dig up the majority of the treasures in these ruins." Ancient God Giant Spirit called out. This old man has explored a few Heaven's Legacy race ruins before. Next to him, an elder robed in violet clouds confidently smiled. At this moment, many of the Fey immortals from all directions noticed and rushed over. Seeking death. Ancient God Giant Spirit's body trembled, his physical strength shaking the heavens as golden flames wreaked havoc. A storm of golden flames that shook the heavens and earth swept out in all directions, causing the surrounding rubble and ruins to scatter in all directions. Those Yao gods weaker than rank 7 ancient god were blasted into nothingness before they could even get close to the group. Too powerful. The stronger Yao gods felt a deep sense of danger from ancient God Giant Spirit, and a hint of fear emerged in their hearts. At this moment, ancient God Giant Spirit jabbed out with his golden finger. Swoosh, swoosh. Several dazzling golden flames shot forward, piercing through the few surviving Yao gods in the distance. Their bodies were covered in golden flames as their bodies began to disintegrate and eventually turn to ash. A rank 8 ancient god truly is extraordinary. Ancient God Gilded Gold mentally sighed in amazement. Prepare to explore. Once everything was taken care of, Ancient God Giant Spirit indifferently said, "It seems like someone else has been here before." The violet-robed elder whispered after observing the area. "That's perfect. We'll have them scout the path ahead." Ancient God Giant Spirit's expression remained unchanged. The Blazing Gold Race group found an entrance and entered. Chapter 1302. The Blazing Gold Race entered a small path that was completely unobstructed. The traps and arrays on this path have all been broken. If we continue down this path, it'll be almost impossible to get anything out of it. At a certain point, the violet-robed elder of the Blazing Gold Race stopped. "They shouldn't have too many people, right?" Ancient God Gilded Gold asked. The Blazing Gold Race had sent mostly rank 7 ancient gods this time, and their leader was the rank 8 ancient god Giant Spirit. Based on what ancient God Gilded Gold had said, no treasure that could tempt higher-level ancient gods had appeared in these ruins. Moreover, these ruins were in the territory of the 5-star faction Divine Triocean. The Blazing Gold Race could not brazenly lead so many experts and upper echelon members deep into the territory of another 5-star faction. This would only expose the ruins. In the end, the Blazing Gold Race sent a team of rank 7 ancient gods, led by a rank 8 ancient god. Naturally, based on this old man's observations, they don't have more than 5 people. The violet-robed elder grinned. Everything they've obtained belongs to the Blazing Gold Race. Ancient God, giant spirit's eyes flashed with golden light. His meaning was extremely clear. They would slowly proceed deeper into the ruins. If they encountered anyone else, they would kill them and take their treasures. The space in these ruins was extremely unstable. If a rank 9 ancient god entered, they might not even be able to safely survive. Thus, the members of the Blazing Gold race speculated that they would never encounter a rank 9 ancient god. As the 21st ranked race of the 10,000 ancient races, they had many people and could do whatever they wanted in these ruins. Underground, Zhao Feng's group cautiously continued forward. Compared to the Yao gods outside the ruins, the dangers within the ruins came from the traps. There's a strange smell. At this moment, the beautiful girl's nose twitched as she spoke. It just so happened that there were 2 forks in a road nearby. Based on the distribution of traps, that direction seems to be an important point, Ancient God Black Extreme said. The direction he pointed in was roughly the same as the source of the smell that the beautiful girl had smelled. The group then changed directions. They didn't take long before the path began to widen. At the very front, a massive violet crystal door appeared. This amethyst door was the largest one they had seen so far. Through the enchantment on the amethyst stone door, he could vaguely see the scene behind. Inside was a huge circular space, and there were many crystal boxes embedded in the space. The boxes were filled with different colored soil, and the soil was planted with all kinds of strange flowers and plants. In addition, there were many large instruments and props that no one had ever seen before. However, because the circular space had collapsed, most of the items inside were destroyed and buried. Many of the crystal boxes embedded in the surroundings were damaged or destroyed. The plants planted in them had long since withered, leaving only some withered branches and withered leaves. However, there were still 2 crystal boxes that had been perfectly preserved. Some of the materials even gave off spiritual energy and gave off a strange glow. That's the rainbow reincarnation herb. The beautiful young woman cried out in alarm. Of the 8 great god-eye descendants, the Eye of Destiny was the most difficult to advance in cultivation, followed by the Eye of Samsara. This was because the power of these 2 eyes was simply too difficult to comprehend. For example, in the continent zone, Sacred King Samsara, who had once fought with Zhao Feng, had constantly hunted down reincarnated people in order to increase his cultivation and steal Samsara energy from their bodies. Heaven Illusionary Sacred Spirit Mushroom and Thousand Wheel Karma Fruit. The usually calm Lin Chengwu's eyes widened as he stared at the resources in the space behind the enchantment. Ancient God Black Extreme. Hurry and break the enchantment. The beautiful young woman was rather impatient. On their journey here, they had only encountered matters related to death intent, but now she was seeing the cultivation treasure that she had been dreaming of. Zhao Feng's left eye could see through everything, allowing him to clearly observe the situation in the crystal box and confirm that it was real. Zhao Feng was currently cultivating many intents, so many of the items in the crystal box would be extremely useful to him. Don't be in such a rush. The mechanisms and arrays here are much more profound than those in the previous one. They won't be broken in a short time. Ancient God Black Extreme appeared rather calm. He took out the black stone plate and began to carefully study the mysteries of the violet crystal door. If this place hadn't been destroyed, the cultivation resources inside would be enough to rival all the wealth of a rank 9 ancient god. After a moment of excitement, the beautiful young woman emotionally sighed. There were more than 20 crystal boxes in this dimension, but all of them had been damaged. Only 2 remained. While Ancient God Black Extreme was breaking the violet crystal door, the group seated themselves cross-legged and began to recover their energy. Although the dimension behind the violet crystal door contained valuable treasures, it was also bound to contain unpredictable dangers. It's done. After a long while, Ancient God Black Extreme suddenly spoke. Okay, what do we need to do? The beautiful young woman immediately asked. It's a little different from before. This array has 5 critical points. Ancient God Black Extreme gave a simple explanation. the beautiful young woman immediately summoned her two samsara immortal bodies. Ancient God Black Extreme then began to break the mechanism. When the complex and incomprehensible patterns around the violet crystal door began to flash with light, it meant that the mechanism had been broken. Boom! Bang! At the same time, the group attacked the 5 critical points of the array and instantly broke the barrier. This time, they did not rush in, but carefully stepped in. There doesn't seem to be any danger here. Lin Chengwu carefully scanned the area and then said. But at this moment, a massive boom came from the right side of the dimension. What's going on? The beautiful young woman immediately revealed a wary expression. This boom was accompanied by powerful ripples of energy. Everyone scanned the area with their divine senses, and they immediately paled. There's someone else. Lin Chengwu called out. The place where the boom had come from happened to be hidden by the ruins, so no one noticed what was going on. In truth, while Lin Chengwu's group was breaking the array, there was another entrance on the right side, and there was a group outside that was in the middle of breaking the array. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 3 figures suddenly appeared in this dimension. The gazes of the 2 groups instantly clashed. There's someone else here? An azure-robed elder in the group had an unkind gaze. It's him. Zhao Feng's eyes focused on one of the black-clothed men. This middle-aged man only had a single right eye, the eye of myriad forms. This was the person Zhao Feng had accidentally encountered when he visited the life sacred land. Back then, this one-eyed eye of myriad forms had even wanted to attack Zhao Feng. Huh! The one-eyed ancient god profound devil scanned Zhao Feng's group and coldly chuckled. Zhao Feng, a yellow-clothed youth in ancient god profound devil's group, said in surprise. Zhao Feng glanced over and realized that this yellow-clothed youth was one of the many members of the Life Sacred Land team that had gone with him to the God Eye Assembly. We have 4 people while you only have 3. Moreover, we were the ones who discovered this place first. I advise all of you to abandon this place. Ancient God Black Extreme was the first to step forward, a look of warning on his face. Lin Chengwu and the beautiful lady were just about to question Ancient God Black Extreme. After all, they had all signed a contract that forbade them from revealing this matter. Only Ancient God Black Extreme could have leaked this information. But when they heard Ancient God Black Extreme's words, they said nothing. Although Ancient God Black Extreme might have leaked the information, there was also a chance that someone else had also discovered these ruins. Haha. Although you have a lot of people, it seems like your strength is very mediocre. The azure-robed elder had a cunning look in his eyes and exuded the powerful energy of a peak rank 7. Those crystal boxes can't be directly touched. If we can't get them, none of you can either. Ancient God Profound Devil chuckled. He was also a peak rank 7, even a little stronger than the azure-robed elder. These words caused the others to glance at the 2 crystal boxes. They truly were not simple and contained complicated mechanisms and secrets. The expressions of Lin Chengwu and the beautiful young woman turned slightly ugly. If Ancient God Black Extreme went to dispel the array, the 3 of them would be no match for him. But if he insisted on attacking, they would not be able to completely drive him away. Don't be in such a rush. Ancient God Black Extreme messaged the members of his team and gave a suggestion. Since you were able to get here, you must have someone skilled in mechanisms and arrays. Why don't we work together to fight for the treasure in the crystal box? Ancient God Black Extreme smiled and said after obtaining the approval of his team members, "First break the crystal box, then fight over it." Ancient God Black Extreme's team had 1 more person, so they still had the advantage. I was thinking the same thing. Ancient God Profound Devil faintly smiled as he stepped forward. Then, the people from the 2 squads who were proficient in mechanisms and formations came to the side of the crystal box. As for the other members of the 2 teams, they were watching each other's every move. If my guess is correct, that one-eyed eye of myriad forms should be the captain of that team. Zhao Feng's eyes dimmed as he guessed at something. Ancient God Black Extreme and Ancient God Profound Devil weren't very old. but the two of them had studied the mechanisms and arrays of the Heaven's Legacy race, and just so happened to be the captains of these two teams. In addition, Zhao Feng had seen a team of 4 people outside. This meant that there were other teams in these ruins as well. Zhao Feng couldn't help but be even more cautious. He sensed that this exploration of the ruins was not going to be simple. At this moment, a voice rang out in Zhao Feng's mind. "Master, that egg." It was the Black Destruction serpent dragon communicating with Zhao Feng through the Dark Heart seal. The egg? Zhao Feng was at first dazed, but then he understood in shock. In the space-time robe dimension, not far from the Black Destruction serpent dragon, the gray and gloomy egg was faintly trembling. Extremely complicated silver characters and symbols would occasionally appear on the egg, moving in a strange pattern around it. Just what is this thieving cat? The Black Destruction serpent dragon had an extremely grave expression. Suddenly, the mysterious characters and symbols on the egg brightened, and a chaotic ancient bloodline energy began to seep out. This ancient bloodline energy, the Black Destruction serpent dragon's body went stiff. The weak Destruction dragon race bloodline in its body almost froze in the face of this unknown ancient bloodline energy. Zhao Feng was just about to check on the space-time robe when Ancient God Black Extreme suddenly bellowed, "Do it!" The crystal walls above the 2 crystal boxes vanished. The extremely precious cultivation treasures were exposed in front of everyone's eyes. Chapter 1303. The moment the 2 crystal boxes opened, Ancient God Black Extreme and Ancient God Profound Devil began to clash. On the other side, the members of both sides began to attack. The azure-robed elders' eyes immediately began to glow with golden light, and an energy that could destroy all things in the world began to seep out. Swish! Zhao Feng's figure flashed as he approached the crystal box. He had comprehended a relatively wide range of intents, and he also had 3 clones. Anyone the cultivation treasures here would be extremely useful to him. Zhao Feng, let me test you out. The yellow-clothed youth from the Life Sacred Land activated the power in his body and the Eye of Life as he charged at Zhao Feng. The Eye of Life was one of the weaker 8 great god eyes in terms of fighting power, but it made it easier for one to grow in cultivation. This was because the majority of cultivation resources contained life intent. Thus, the yellow-clothed youth felt that everything here was suitable for him. Zhao Feng's expression darkened. When he first met up with the team from the Life Sacred Land, the yellow-clothed youth had already expressed his dissatisfaction. Zhao Feng had heard from Xiahou Wu that because he had refused the Life Sacred Land's invitation, many disciples and elders of the race didn't like Zhao Feng. Swish! Swish! Golden wings condensed on Zhao Feng's back. He used the golden lightning wings and spatial blink to avoid the yellow-clothed youth and approach the crystal boxes. Get out of my sight. Ancient God Profound Devil, who was fighting with Ancient God Black Extreme, activated his left eye, firing golden spears at Zhao Feng. So strong. Zhao Feng used the discernment ability of his left eye and his dodging skills to dodge the attack. Of the people present, the one-eyed Ancient God Profound Devil was the strongest. After suppressing Ancient God Black Extreme, he still had the strength to attack Zhao Feng. On the other side, Lin Chengwu and the azure-robed elder clashed. But not even Lin Chengwu, with his eye of space-time, had much of an advantage over the azure-robed elder. At the start, Ancient God Profound Devil's team had the upper hand. Meanwhile, the 3 of them were doing their utmost to absorb the cultivation treasures in the crystal boxes. Although the crystal box was sturdy, the cultivation treasures inside could not withstand their attacks. Thus, everyone tried their best not to let the shock waves of the battle reach the crystal boxes. That way, it would be more difficult for them to obtain the cultivation treasures. At this moment, whoosh whoosh, several figures rushed to the battlefield. These were all the samsara, immortal bodies of the beautiful young woman. One of them was a rather strong rank 7 ancient god. One had just reached rank 7 ancient god, and the rest were rank 6 true gods. As for the beautiful young woman herself, she retreated to the rear and occasionally launched long-range sneak attacks against the enemy. The moment these samsara immortal bodies entered the fray, ancient god profound devil's side gradually fell into a disadvantageous position. Myriad manifestation underworld domain. A rainbow-colored barrier of light appeared around ancient god profound devil, infused with the power of the world. It multiplied ancient god profound devil's fighting power and also provided him with an extremely powerful defense. Heaven and earth annihilation. The cyan-clothed old man's eyes spun rapidly. The destructive power of the Upanishad filled his field of vision, causing everything to slowly disappear. These two people are really strong. The beautiful young woman at the side exclaimed in surprise. But this was also because their opponents had a good lineup. Ancient god profound devil was skilled in defense. The azure-clothed elder was the strongest in offense, and the yellow-clothed youth's eye of life had formidable healing abilities. Forget about them. The beautiful young woman's gaze fell on the seven-colored reincarnation grass in the crystal box. She immediately took control of several of the stronger rank 6 samsara immortal bodies and made seizing the resource her primary objective. At this moment, a golden light flashed above the crystal box. The beautiful young woman saw that one of the cultivation treasures in the crystal box had vanished. Zhao Feng, that brat. A look of surprise appeared on the beautiful young woman's face. The person who had clashed with Zhao Feng was the yellow-clothed youth from the life-sacred land. But Zhao Feng didn't even fight. Instead, he constantly dodged and moved around the crystal box. Even when the golden-clothed man got close, Zhao Feng was able to escape each time. Whoosh! One of the young woman's samsara immortal bodies avoided the battle and approached the crystal box. At this moment, in a golden blur, Zhao Feng took out a 7-colored herb covered in many rings. My 7-colored reincarnation grass. The beautiful young woman screamed. Although she was in the same team as Zhao Feng, the way they divided up the treasures was based on their own skill. Damn, this person is too fast. The yellow-clothed youth was well aware that he couldn't do anything to Zhao Feng, so he didn't continue fighting with Zhao Feng and charged at the crystal box. This isn't yours. Zhao Feng saw that the yellow-clothed youth was no longer targeting him and was instead trying to take the treasure, so he immediately tried to stop him. Cackrack! A purple-silver lightning flame exploded against his soul. Zhao Feng then unleashed another palm to push back the youth and approach the crystal box. I'll also take the Heaven Void Sacred Spirit Fruit. Zhao Feng faintly chuckled as he plucked a small silver-white fruit and a dark golden fruit next to it. My void extinguishing divine fruit. The azure-robed elder saw that the destruction intent cultivation treasure he had his eye on had been taken by Zhao Feng, and he was instantly enraged, destruction intent madly surging in his eyes. Lin Chengwu also had an extremely nasty expression. The Heaven Void Sacred Spirit Fruit he needed had also been taken by Zhao Feng. How about we call a truce and peacefully divide up the treasures? Lin Chengwu silently messaged the azure-robed elder. The azure-robed elder was taken aback for a moment, but then he apparently agreed and messaged the yellow-clothed youth and ancient god profound devil. The yellow-clothed youth of the life-sacred land was extremely depressed. In his fight with Zhao Feng, he had gained nothing and instead suffered losses time and time again. Thus, he decisively agreed. Everyone, we're no match for you. You get 60% of the treasures, while we get 40%. How about this? Since all the members had agreed, ancient god profound devil could only speak. The beautiful girl and Zhao Feng were both taken aback. These people see that I've gotten too many benefits and want to negotiate? Zhao Feng couldn't help but feel depressed. But from the looks of it, Lin Chengwu and the beautiful girl would not refuse. He was just a member of the team. If the majority of the team agreed, there was nothing he could do. But at this moment, a powerful ancient bloodline energy suddenly appeared in the air. This bloodline energy caused the blood of everyone present to freeze and their minds to tremble. Ordinary 8 great god-eye descendants were only equivalent to the top 40 bloodlines of the 10,000 ancient races. Quasi-god-eyes were equivalent to the top 20 bloodlines of the 10,000 ancient races. But now, this unique and unknown primordial bloodline aura caused everyone present to feel a powerful bloodline pressure. Some other powerful races come here. Ancient God Black Extreme and Ancient God Profound Devil were both alarmed. The people they invited were all descendants with eye bloodlines. Besides the 8 great god eyes, was there any other eye bloodline that could have such a powerful impact on their bloodlines? Delish. A dark silver light shot out, and a figure appeared in the crystal box. A cat. The azure-robed elder, the yellow-robed youth, and the others all stared in surprise at the silver-gray cat in the crystal box. The cat's skin was dark gray, and its limbs were slender and strong. The only difference between it and an ordinary cat was that this gray thieving cat's limbs and the roots of its tail were covered with many bright silver runes and cryptic characters, which made it look more mysterious and supernatural. Meow. The little thieving cat looked at the group and snickered, its tail covered in silver runes and characters twisting and turning like a crystalline whip. Little thieving cat. Zhao Feng's expression froze. The cat before him was rather different from the little thieving cat of the past, as if it had grown up. If not for the contract, Zhao Feng almost wouldn't have recognized it. But at the same time, Zhao Feng was astonished. The little thieving cat's transformation this time was probably no small matter. The aura of the primordial bloodline that shocked everyone just now was indeed extraordinary. But even though the little thieving cat had undergone some unknown transformation, its thieving face remained the same. Heaven's legacy. Ancient God Black Extreme's face froze in shock. On the other side, Ancient God Profound Devil's expression flickered several times. He knows about the Heaven's Legacy cat? Zhao Feng glanced at Ancient God Black Extreme. Zhao Feng had only heard about the Heaven's Legacy cat from the automatons in the Heaven's Legacy city. But now, Ancient God Black Extreme actually knew about the Heaven's Legacy cat. Although Ancient God Profound Devil didn't say it out loud, his expression showed that he knew. Meow. The little thieving cat put on a thieving look, and then it opened its mouth and swallowed a precious fruit. Damn, where did this cat come from? The azure-robed elder immediately bellowed. This thieving cat had actually stolen such a precious cultivation resource. Lin Chengwu turned his gaze to Zhao Feng. Just now, he sensed a faint spatial ripple coming from Zhao Feng's direction. This cat's bloodline is so extraordinary. If I could take it as a pet, the beautiful girl began to make this decision. Meow. The little thieving cat appeared confused, as if to say, these idiots are actually ignoring it? The little thieving cat waved its slender paw, and a snow-white mushroom appeared in its hand, which it immediately swallowed. Swish! The little thieving cat blinked to the side, and with a sweep of its mouth, the 5 resources vanished. Not good. This gluttonous thieving cat. The yellow-clothed youth immediately bellowed. The beautiful girl, the azure-robed elder, and Lin Chengwu were all shocked and furious. In their desperate struggle, each person had obtained 1 or 2 treasures at most. But the moment the little thieving cat appeared, it swallowed several priceless cultivation treasures and showed no signs of stopping. Only Ancient God Black Extreme and Ancient God Profound Devil had pensive looks on their faces as they stood there, their thoughts inscrutable. This scoundrel! Zhao Feng slapped his forehead. The little thieving cat's actions immediately infuriated both sides. But the little thieving cat was not very big, and it was in the crystal box, so they did not immediately use their most powerful attacks to avoid destroying the cultivation treasures. Swish! Swish! Lin Chengwu blinked away as he approached the crystal box. Spatial Flash Blade. Lin Chengwu activated his left eye, locked onto the little thieving cat, and unleashed a spatial eye bloodline technique. Thuish. A small white blade appeared next to the little thieving cat, on the verge of piercing through its body. But then, an unexpected scene occurred. The small white blade passed right through the little thieving cat's body, leaving not a single mark. Illish. The white blade plunged into a special layer of dirt and struck the crystal wall, leaving behind a shallow mark. The little thieving cat gave a lowly smile as it leaped up and down, swallowing 4 or 5 cultivation treasures. Chapter 1304. This cat. How? The eyes of the god-eye descendants lunging at the little thieving cat went wide in shock. Lin Xingwu's eye bloodline technique had clearly struck the little thieving cat, but it hadn't done any damage to it. Moreover, the little thieving cat didn't have an absolute physical defense, nor did it use any profound movement techniques to dodge. The spatial eye bloodline technique had passed right through its body in an unimaginable manner. Is that thieving cat not a physical body? The beautiful girl muttered in shock. The azure-robed elder's expression darkened, as if he had noticed something. No, this thieving cat possesses an extremely profound space intent. Lin Chengwu solemnly stared at the little thieving cat. He was the one who had used that attack just now, and he himself had the eye of space-time. Thus, he was the only one who knew what had just happened. On the surface, it seemed like that tiny spatial blade of white crystal had passed through the little thieving cat's body, but that wasn't actually the case. The moment the white crystal blade touched the little thieving cat's body, the little thieving cat used a profound space intent to move the white crystal blade from one side of its body to the other. Thus, to an outsider, it looked like the white crystal blade had passed right through the little thieving cat's body. This was a short-distance spatial shift ability that Lin Chengwu also knew. However, the little thieving cat was even more outstanding. The space intent it used was extremely obscure, and those with weaker space intent would find it difficult to detect. From this aspect, the little thieving cat's spatial abilities were even more formidable than Lin Chengwu's. So that's how it is. This little cat is actually this formidable. The yellow-clothed youth examined the little thieving cat in shock. If this continues, all the cultivation treasures in the crystal box will be eaten by this thieving cat. The azure-robed elder snorted. These words caused everyone else to grimace. They were all god-eye descendants, famed ancient god experts, but now they had been toyed with by this cat to such an extent. This was truly rather hateful. But they were still ancient god experts. The youngest of them, the yellow-clothed youth, was several hundred years old, while the azure-robed elder was probably 10 million years old. Their eyes were extremely sharp, and their foresight was profound. Compared to the cultivation treasures here, if he could tame this kitten, it would undoubtedly be more useful. Leave this thieving cat to this old man. The azure-robed elder charged out, heading straight for the little thieving cat in the crystal box. We can't let him succeed. The beautiful young woman revealed an anxious expression. She naturally knew what the green-robed old man was thinking. Ancient God Black Extreme. Lin Chengwu glanced at Ancient God Black Extreme. It seemed like from the moment the little thieving cat appeared, Ancient God Black Extreme had fallen silent. It was impossible to tell what he was thinking. Ancient God Profound Devil seemed to be in the same situation. At the same time, he also noticed that Zhao Feng's expression was a little strange. Whoosh, whoosh. At this moment, the azure-robed elder and the beautiful woman's samsara immortal bodies arrived next to the little thieving cat. Kitten, you've stolen so many of our treasures. Unless you follow this old man, you'll definitely die today. The azure-robed elder's golden eyes emitted a terrifying aura that could destroy heaven and earth. Moreover, this aura was aimed at the soul. The soul energy of an ordinary living being would gradually weaken under the pressure of this destruction energy until they would eventually submit. However, the little thieving cat seemed completely unaffected. It only gave the azure-robed elder a disdainful glance before hopping off to eat a few more treasures. How could this be? This thieving cat is actually ignoring the soul pressure of this old man's eye of destruction. The azure-robed elder's lips twitched. As Zhao Feng used his left eye to peer through, he realized that just a moment ago, a strange and gloomy membrane had appeared over the little thieving cat's soul body, wrapping around it. It was precisely because of this mysterious defensive soul art that the little thieving cat was completely unaffected. The little thieving cat never knew this sort of secret soul art before. This isn't how you tame a pet. The beautiful young woman in the back let out a tender laugh. At this moment, the beautiful woman controlled her samsara immortal body and approached the little thieving cat. The ancient god wielding the golden sword followed the woman's orders and said, "Kitten, if you follow my master, there will be countless treasures like this in the future. You can eat as many as you want." Meow. The little thieving cat extended a paw and impatiently waved it around, as if saying that it was eating and that they shouldn't disturb it. The yellow-clothed youth and Lin Chengwu followed suit, attempting to tame this mysterious and powerful thieving cat. In the end, all of them were met with rebuff, but they were still unwilling to give up. In their view, this little thieving cat was definitely a creature from the God-Eye ruins. It was mysterious, powerful, and possessed special abilities. If they tamed it, they might even be able to extract some important information from its mouth. "Let me capture you." The yellow-clothed youth was enraged and used a secret art to try and capture the little thieving cat. Tough and twisted green vines appeared around the area and began to wrap around the little thieving cat. Meow. The little thieving cat, who was in the middle of eating herbs, became rather angry at this sight. Suddenly, the mysterious silver runes and characters on its limbs began to twist and flicker. Its body also seemed to undergo a subtle transformation, becoming tough and brimming with strength. At the same time, everyone present once more felt that heaven-shaking bloodline pressure. What a powerful bloodline energy. "We have to get this cat." The azure-robed elder was extremely excited. Swoosh, swoosh. The little thieving cat's claws became dark silver and sharp. It casually waved them a few times, and countless silver blades appeared in the air. They were like a dazzling storm that seemed to have a mind of their own, cutting apart all the vines. "You're not going to try?" The beautiful girl looked at Zhao Feng, an ancient god Black Extreme. Other than Zhao Feng, ancient god Black Extreme, and ancient god Profound Devil, everyone else had tried to tame the little thieving cat. This cat is very difficult to tame. Ancient god Black Extreme hesitated for a moment before saying. The beautiful girl nodded. In her view, ancient god Black Extreme was observing to find the little thieving cat's weakness so that he could strike. At this moment, the little thieving cat had finished eating all the cultivation treasures in the crystal box. This scoundrel, he actually finished eating all the resources. The yellow-clothed youth stomped his feet in anger. This lowly little thieving cat was completely impervious to anything. Their plan to tame it made no progress. And when they tried to take the cultivation treasures from the crystal box, they would be attacked by the little thieving cat. Meow. The little thieving cat seemed to be full, burping and patting its belly. This cat has eaten its fill. Perhaps we can find a chance to tame it. The azure-robed elder's eyes twinkled. The others were also eager to try. Now that all the cultivation treasures have been eaten by this cat, whoever succeeded in taming this cat would be the final winner. But at this moment, Zhao Feng, who had remained silent this entire time, finally spoke. "Come here," Zhao Feng helplessly said. The moment the thieving cat came out, it took all the remaining treasures into its mouth, and the others were doing their best to curry favor with it. You think it'll come over just because you tell it to?" The yellow-clothed youth couldn't help but jeer. "Little brother, your beast-taming method is no good." The beautiful girl gracefully smiled. But the moment the two of them finished speaking, the silver-gray cat in the crystal box suddenly stood up. Swish! In a flash of silver-gray light, the little thieving cat appeared on Zhao Feng's shoulder and lay down. For a moment, the calm and confident azure-robed elder and Lin Chengwu were dumbstruck, not knowing what to say. The yellow-clothed youth and the beautiful girl seemed to have been petrified, their faces frozen. Ancient God Black Extreme and Ancient God Profound Devil stared in shock at Zhao Feng, their minds going through a series of thoughts. After a long while, the azure-robed elder's eyes flashed. "Kid, it's your pet." The azure-robed elder bellowed in fury. "What?" Everyone else stared in shock and disbelief at Zhao Feng. But in reality, based on what happened just now, it was clear that the little thieving cat was Zhao Feng's pet. This meant that more than 90% of the treasures in the 2 crystal boxes had been taken by this pair of main pets. No one could accept this. "Zhao Feng, your pet ate the rest of the treasures here. As its master, you have to take responsibility for this matter." The yellow-clothed youth immediately shouted. Lin Shengwu and the beautiful girl wanted to voice their agreement, but they were still on the same team as Zhao Feng, so they did not make it too obvious. The struggle for treasures depends on one's own ability. Moreover, when my pet took action, I didn't do anything. Even so, none of you were able to win against it. And in my view, you intentionally allowed it to eat those treasures. Your true goal was to steal my pet. Zhao Feng first sighed, seemingly belittling them, and then he changed his tone and directly questioned these people who wanted to steal his pet. For a moment, none of them had anything to say. They were all extremely regretful. If they had come to an agreement earlier, Zhao Feng would have had to take responsibility. At the same time, they were all angry that such a mysterious and powerful cat was Zhao Feng's pet. Ancient God Black Extreme and Ancient God Profound Devil only stared at Zhao Feng, their thoughts inscrutable. "Let's go." After a long while, Ancient God Profound Devil led his team away. Lin Shengwu and the beautiful girl looked at Zhao Feng with unkind expressions. "Zhao Feng, if you had this pet, why didn't you take it out earlier?" Ancient God Black Extreme reproached, but he was actually trying to find out more about the little thieving cat. "This scoundrel isn't very obedient," Zhao Feng casually explained, but everyone seemed to be very convinced by this reason. "Let's go as well," Ancient God Black Extreme said, not having learned anything. "Slow down. There's still something good here." Zhao Feng stopped them. "There's still something good?" Lin Shengwu was somewhat doubtful. If there was something good, why didn't Zhao Feng take it for himself? As everyone watched, Zhao Feng went to a certain corner, gathered up Chaos Origin Divine Power in his hands, and then fired it at the edge of a piece of silver ruin. After a few rounds of attacks, a piece of the edge of the huge ruin was shaved off, revealing something. It was a palm. "This is a hand? There's someone inside?" The beautiful girl was alarmed. "No, it's an automaton." Ancient God Black Extreme also revealed a look of shock as he said this. Everyone immediately thought of the highly realistic and intelligent automatons created by the Heaven's Legacy race. It was rumored that there were even automatons with apocalyptic fighting power. "Dig it out. Perhaps we can use it or obtain something," Ancient God Black Extreme called out. Chapter 1305. Dig it out. It might be of some use, or we might be able to obtain some information from it, Ancient God Black Extreme called out. The others immediately began to understand. This Heaven's Legacy race automaton was very likely one of the members of the God Eye Ruins. Moreover, automatons had almost no limit to their lifespans. If this automaton buried underground was still alive, they might even be able to learn the true nature of these ruins from its mouth. If this was the God Eye Ruins, then it would be very unusual for a Heaven's Legacy race automaton to appear. Perhaps the true nature of this place was not what Ancient God Black Extreme had described. "Go!" Lin Qingwu's expression flickered. Spatial flash flurry. He immediately activated his eye of space-time, his eyes exploding with supreme eye intent. Swoosh! Countless white crystal blades ignored the distance and slashed at the metal ruins in front of them. However, the buildings in this place were extremely unique. This massive piece of metal was massive, heavy, and extremely tough. Lin Qingwu's space-time eye bloodline technique was only able to cut off a few pieces. At the same time, the beautiful girl released Tensum Samsara immortal bodies, which she sent blasting at the metal ruins in front of her. On the other side, Ancient God Black Extreme activated his Eye of Death and aimed it at the metal ruins. Death intent could cause any object to gradually decay and walk toward death, and it was most effective against this massive piece of metal. The four of them worked together to quickly dig out half of the Heaven's Legacy race automaton. After being smashed like this, it's probably useless. The beautiful girl was rather disappointed. Now, only the head and upper body of the mechanical puppet had been excavated by the crowd. However, the automaton's face had been smashed beyond recognition, and there was a massive hole in its chest. All the mechanical parts inside had been destroyed. "Let me try." Ancient God Black Extreme stepped forward, approached the automaton, and squatted down. "What do you want to do?" Lin Chengwu asked in confusion. "Every part of this automaton has been severely damaged. Not even an array master of the ancient desolate realm of gods would be able to repair it, but the damage to its head isn't very serious. I want to try and see if I can extract any information from it." Ancient God Black Extreme simply replied. Ancient God Black Extreme simply replied. Without waiting for anyone to say anything else, he took out a few tools, used a secret art, and placed a hand on the automaton's head. Ancient God Black Extreme's hand sent waves of black runes into the automaton's head. At this moment, the head of the automaton began to creak. Ancient God Black Extreme had already closed his eyes as if he was carefully searching for something. After a long time, the beautiful young lady asked in a low voice, "What's the situation?" "I've obtained most of the map information of this place." Ancient God Black Extreme drew back his hand and put away all the tools before speaking. "Really?" Lin Chengwu was slightly startled. In his opinion, everyone had been wandering aimlessly in the ruins at the beginning. If they had a map of this place, they would be able to plan their goals and reap the greatest benefits in the shortest amount of time. "Other than the map, is there anything else?" At this moment, Zhao Feng stepped forward and asked. "His memories have been sealed by an extremely profound technique, so I can't inspect them at all. However, the map information is a separate piece of information from the automaton's brain, and it just so happened that the defenses failed, so I was able to obtain this map information." Ancient God Black Extreme had a frank expression. The beautiful young lady and Lin Chengwu both grimaced. They guessed that Ancient God Black Extreme had obtained more than this, but he was hiding some important information. Thus, the two of them decided to keep an eye on Ancient God Black Extreme. Swish! With a wave of his hand, Ancient God Black Extreme took out a somewhat crude map and presented it to the group. This map, everyone's eyes focused on the map, and then they slowly focused on a single point. "This is the core area of the God Eye ruins." The beautiful young lady called out in alarm. Everyone could roughly see that in the center of this map was a massive sphere, marked in red as the Forbidden Zone. In the center of the sphere was the symbol of an eye. "Correct. And we're not too far from the core area." Ancient God Black Extreme nodded. Everyone's expressions flickered as they found it difficult to conceal the excitement in their hearts. When these massive ruins were still intact, it was certain that they would have been extremely glorious. For example, although there were only 2 crystal boxes left in the area where they were growing plants, the majority of the cultivation treasures inside had withered. However, these 7 ancient god experts were still madly fighting over them. It was hard to imagine just what sort of treasures and opportunities were hidden in the center of these ruins. "Let's get moving." The beautiful young lady was rather impatient. The group chose the shortest route and headed straight for the core area on the map. After everyone left this place, no one discovered that a dark silver light of nothingness had lightly flitted through the air. Meow! The little thieving cat suddenly appeared, and with a single leap, it appeared next to the broken automaton. He waved his claws, and a mysterious and complicated diagram and text formed a dark silver halo that enveloped the mechanical puppet's brain. After a long while, the little thieving cat put down its paws, and after a few moments of thought, it vanished. In Ancient God Black Extreme's team, the little thieving cat reappeared on Zhao Feng's shoulder. "This cat." The beautiful young lady shot a furious and envious glance at the cat. Lin Chengwu and Ancient God Black Extreme paid little attention to the little thieving cat's elusive movements. Standing on Zhao Feng's shoulder, the little thieving cat used its soul to send many messages to Zhao Feng. In the end, the little thieving cat returned to the interspatial dimension. So that's how it is. These ruins aren't God-Eye ruins at all. Zhao Feng was secretly alarmed, but he showed no emotion on his face. Based on the information he had obtained from the little thieving cat and the suspicions he had noticed, Zhao Feng felt that this was probably a trap. But now that they were about to reach the core area, Zhao Feng also wanted to take a look. Of course, Zhao Feng had a way to preserve his life, which was why he dared to enter despite knowing the danger. Careful, there's a Yao God up ahead. Ancient God Black Extreme warned. It seems like the core area definitely has extremely important treasures and opportunities, the beautiful young lady excitedly said. Previously, when they were exploring the underground ruins, they rarely encountered Yao gods in the passages. But just as they were about to reach the core area, a Yao god appeared in the passage. But this only made them even more excited. Roar! The rank 7 Yao god with the eye of myriad forms roared at them. Get out of here! The rank 7 Yao god's surroundings surged with violent energy, and the colors in its enormous, multicolored eyes spun wildly, as if declaring its fury. Ancient God Black Extreme's team said nothing as they charged forward, all of their eyes flashing with ripples of intent. Boom! Bang! The moment the two forces collided, the rank 7 Yao god was instantly killed. There are still many more ahead. We'll take turns distributing the high-level intent crystals in the bodies of Yao gods. After saying this, Ancient God Black Extreme put the eye of myriad forms intent crystal into his interspatial dimension. As expected, the group didn't travel very far before encountering another rank 7 Yao god. After killing it, Lin Chengwu put away the high-grade profundity crystal. As they traveled deeper and deeper, the passage gradually widened. But the Yao gods they encountered were also getting stronger and stronger. Before they could even finish off the first Yao god, a second Yao god was already approaching. The group of people finally slowed down. The core area is 1,000 meters up ahead. Ancient God Black Extreme called out. The eyes of Lin Chengwu and the beautiful woman flashed with sharp light, and their fighting power suddenly increased. Boom! Bang! Crash! The group of 4 fiercely battled with the Yao god in front of them. After a long while, the group finally reached the end of the passage. In front of them was an enormous, translucent sphere. However, they couldn't see what was inside very clearly, and their divine senses couldn't penetrate it. There were 8 paths around the sphere, leading in every direction. The path they were on was one of them. The greatest treasure of these ruins was right in front of them, but they suppressed their excitement and stood their ground. This was because the path they were on to the center of the sphere was filled with an astonishing number of Yao gods. The weakest of these Yao gods was an outstanding rank 6, and the strongest were almost at the peak of rank 6. Roar! Many of the Yao gods noticed Ancient God Black Extreme's team and roared as they charged forward. There are so many of them. If we're not careful, we'll be buried here. The beautiful young woman's expression was somewhat ugly. If everyone stops hiding their cards, there's a very good chance that we can get through this path. Ancient God Black Extreme's cold and sinister gaze swept over the group. Any expert would have 1 or 2 trump cards. Moreover, this mission was special. The other members were all on guard against Ancient God Black Extreme and had even more cards hidden up their sleeves. As the group was hesitating, one of the 8 paths in the center of the sphere suddenly began to pulse with energy. 4 figures appeared at the mouth of the path. It's them. The beautiful woman and Lin Chengwu called out in alarm. The team that had suddenly appeared was Ancient God Profound Devil's team. Someone actually got here before us? The yellow-clothed youth called out in surprise. However, just as the two of them were sizing each other up, a series of loud rumbles came from another passage. A team of 4 quickly appeared in front of Ancient God Profound Devil and Ancient God Black Extreme's team. There's someone else? A black golden-armored man spoke, his eyes gleaming with cold and sinister light. Ancient God, departed spirit. Many of the members of the other two teams were extremely familiar with this black golden armored man. Other than ancient God, departed spirit, their team also had descendants of the Eye of Myriad Forms and the Eye of Space-Time. At the very back of these three was a slim woman with the Eye of Destiny. The three teams appeared on their respective paths, and each tunnel was filled with a terrifying number of demon immortals. At this moment, the Pupil Yao immortals were already attacking the outsiders in the tunnel they were on. Chapter 1306. Go! Ancient God Black Extreme called out. At the same time, the other two squads that had arrived were also ready for battle. We have to get to the core area before them. The beautiful girl's eyes were grim. Who knew what sort of treasures and opportunities existed in the core area? But no matter what, getting to the core area before the other two teams was equivalent to seizing the initiative. The other two teams were of the same mind. They had to get to the core area before the other teams. From the looks of it, our team should have the highest fighting power. This was Lin Xingwu's conclusion after carefully inspecting the other two teams. Ancient God Profound Devil's team only had 3 people. Ancient God Departed Spirit's team had an Eye of Destiny that didn't have any fighting power. In short, Ancient God Black Extreme's team had the strongest fighting power. There's no need to worry. The team that gets to the core area first will be a huge variable. The slim woman with the Eye of Destiny said to the other 3 members of her team, we had to be the first to get to the core area. Ancient God Departed Spirit angrily snorted as he gloomily stared at Zhao Feng. Back in the God Eye competition ground, he had lost to Zhao Feng. This time, his team and Zhao Feng's team were engaged in yet another battle. The other 2 teammates nodded their heads. Only by getting to the core area first would they be able to reap the greatest harvest. Death Coil. Ancient God-departed spirit's Eye of Death turned, and the black fog around him surged. Countless pitch-black tentacles reached out and swung forward. In a flash, several rank 6 Yao gods were instantly slain by Ancient God-departed spirit. On the other side, Ancient God Profound Devil's team charged into the passage and clashed with the other Ayao gods. Destruction Aurora. The azure-robed Elder's Eye of Destruction fired off a dazzling golden beam of light that shot forward. On Ancient God Black Extreme's side, Zhao Feng's team had already begun to move. Spatial Flash Flurry. Lin Chengwu activated his Eye of Space-Time, his eyes exploding with supreme eye intent. Xiao xiao xiao. Suddenly, countless white crystal blades shot out from his eyes, ignoring the distance between them and hitting the Eye Demon God in front of him. Death Ray Wave. Ancient God Black Extreme charged at the very front, unleashing a lethal Eye Bloodline technique at the reckless Eye Yao God. In the middle of the group was Zhao Feng, who occasionally used psychic illusions to confuse the Eye Demon Gods and expose their weaknesses, making it easier for them to be killed. As for the beautiful woman's Samsara mortal body, it charged at the front as a meat shield while she stood at the back. Ancient God Black Extreme's team quickly took the lead, but gradually everyone's speed slowed down. After all, no one wanted to expose their trump cards. Moreover, the situation here was special. No one knew when something would happen, so they had to conserve their strength. But this way, the other teams slowly caught up. As a result, the distance the 3 squads advanced was never too far apart, and they slowly approached the core area. The number of Eye Demon Gods hasn't increased. This means that the number of demon gods in each tunnel is fixed. Ancient God Black Extreme suddenly said. As soon as he said that, the other members of the team immediately became motivated. Earlier, they were all worried that if they advanced too quickly, the Yao gods in the other tunnels would rush over to their side. Kill! The 4 members of the team suddenly unleashed a burst of energy, fiercely pushing forward. Not good. Their team is made up of fighters, and they have an Eye of Samsara descendant. They're advancing too quickly. An Eye of Myriad Forms descendant in Ancient God Departed Spirit's team exclaimed in shock. Even so, We can't let them leave us too far behind. And we certainly can't let the other team overtake us. Ancient God departed spirit bellowed, the black mist in front of his eyes becoming a bottomless black hole of death. Swoosh! Pitch black and sinister death spears shot out, easily killing a group of demon gods. Ancient God Profound Devil's team also began to pick up the pace. But in the end, Ancient God Black Extreme's team was the first to reach the core area. Hurry and kill them. The other two teams saw this and immediately threw caution to the wind, taking out some of their trump cards to kill the Yao gods. They couldn't see what was inside the crystal ball, but they all felt that if they were too late, Ancient God Black Extreme's team would take away all the treasures. BZCE. Ancient God Black Extreme's team passed through a strange halo of light and arrived at the core area of the God Eye ruins. Deep in the core area, they could clearly see what was happening outside. But at this moment, no one cared about what was happening outside. Their eyes were wide open as they examined the scene before them in shock. They were currently in a small room within the giant sphere. The room was filled with all sorts of machines and instruments that they had never seen before. There were also many sealed test tubes filled with various liquids. This probably isn't a God Eye ruin. Lin Qingwu's expression darkened. I was also just speculating back then. Ancient God Black Extreme explained. This must be a Heaven's Legacy race ruin. The beautiful girl's eyes flashed with sharp light. Although it wasn't a God Eye ruin, a ruin of the Heaven's Legacy race was no less valuable than a God Eye ruin. Meow. At this moment, the little thieving cat came out, its black eyes tinged with silver stars as it scanned its surroundings. Ancient God Black Extreme couldn't help but stare at the little thieving cat in silence. That row of test tubes contains the primordial bloodline. The beautiful young woman's gaze suddenly focused on a row of different colored test tubes that were as thick as an arm. They were all God Eye descendants, so their connections to the bloodlines of the 10,000 ancient races were rather weak. Coupled with the isolation of the test tubes, normal people wouldn't be able to sense them. However, the beautiful girl had a samsara immortal body, and they all had powerful ancient bloodlines in their lives. Really? Lin Qingwu was flabbergasted. The isolation of the test tubes made it impossible for them to sense what kind of bloodline was inside. But how could an ancient bloodline be ranked very low if it was placed here? Each test tube here was enough to create a powerful ancient race expert. At the same time, everyone turned their eyes to another place. These were tiny test tubes, each filled with a very small amount of liquid or powder. They appeared to be some kind of medicine made from some special materials. Go! The beautiful girl immediately ordered a samsara immortal body to approach the test tube that was suspected to contain some precious medicine. But the samsara immortal body's hand had only just touched the test tube. White bolts of light shot out from the room like bolts of lightning, completely obliterating the samsara immortal body. This place has been almost completely preserved. The precious items here are definitely beyond your imagination, but they're not things that can be casually taken. Ancient God Black Extreme's face was indifferent. Meow. The little thieving cat stood on his shoulder and put on a very haughty expression. But no one besides Zhao Feng could understand what the little thieving cat was saying. Ancient God Black Extreme, only you can take out the treasures of this place. Hurry and do it. The beautiful girl gave a charming laugh and said. At the same time, Lin Qingwu and Zhao Feng also turned to Ancient God Black Extreme as if they were working together to threaten him. Right at that moment, the other two squads also entered the core region. Everyone was stunned by the first sight they saw. There's no rush. Let's take what we can and then go in and take a look. Ancient God Black Extreme appeared unconcerned as he walked around the room and began to inspect it. The others also walked around the room, observing and attempting to take away anything. In the end, they obtained some extremely ordinary tools and proceeded to one of the rooms. What's going on here? The beautiful girl immediately screamed. In front of the crowd, there were enormous sealed grooves. Inside each of them were bodies that had existed for who knew how many years. Perhaps because the machines weren't working, these bodies were all lifeless. But all these bodies had one thing in common. They had no eyes. Where their eyes should be, there were only a few tubes as thin as hairs. The infusion tube extended to a special crystal box above. There was a pair of eyes in every crystal box, and they were all eyes of death. This place, could it be? Lin Chengwu felt a chill run down his spine. Based on what they could see, each body here belonged to a death god eye descendant. But their eye bloodlines had all been dug out and used as experimental subjects. This should be a research base of the Heaven's Legacy race's heaven-defying faction, and the subject of their research are descendants of the 8 great god eyes. Although this place only has the experimental bodies of death god eye descendants, the other 7 passages should lead to other god eye descendants. The beautiful girl revealed a look of disgust. After all, she was also a god eye descendant. In addition, the Heaven's Legacy race's heaven-defying faction and Sage faction were 2 factions that few people in the continent zone knew of. But the majority of true god experts in the ancient desolate realm of gods knew of this. Zhao Feng nodded. The beautiful girl's conjecture was probably correct. Just what is the Heaven's Legacy race's heaven-defying faction trying to do? Lin Chengwu couldn't help but wonder. The heaven-defying faction would not engage in meaningless research. If this research base was aimed at descendants of the 8 great god eyes, just what secrets did the heaven-defying faction want to discover? Most importantly, had they finished their research? This time, Lin Chengwu and the beautiful young lady couldn't wait to enter the next level. But at this moment, several enormous ripples of energy came from one of the passages. Everyone in the core area couldn't help but look outside. The people of the blazing gold race. 9 people in total, and one of them is a rank 8 true god. Everyone couldn't help but stare in shock, their hearts thumping. If they were at their peak, they wouldn't fear the blazing gold race. But none of them had gotten much rest since exploring the ruins, and dealing with the Yao gods outside the passage had taken an enormous toll on them. None of the 3 teams in the core area were in peak condition. The Blazing Gold race members seemed to have followed the path that ancient god Profound Devil had taken, so their journey had been smooth and unimpeded. They had not encountered any danger and were all in peak condition. This should be the most precious core area of this relic. A violet-robed elder in the Blazing Gold race team said, his eyes gleaming. They should all be inside. Let's go in and kill them all. In the Blazing Gold race team, ancient god giant spirit gave a cruel smile. Chapter 1307. They should all be inside. Let's go in and kill them all. In the Blazing Gold race team, ancient god giant spirit gave a cruel smile. Okay. Ancient god Gilded Gold had an excited look on his face, and the other members of the Blazing Gold race also rubbed their palms and prepared to attack. None of them had expected that by following the path of others, they would be able to find the core area of these ruins. Now, all they needed to do was enter the core area and kill everyone else that had entered, and these ruins would be the Blazing Gold races. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The Blazing Gold race team flew toward the core area. At the same time, the members of the 3 teams in the core area grimaced, especially the azure-robed elder and yellow-clothed youth of ancient god Profound Devil's team, their hearts burning with rage. If they were in the Blazing Gold race's shoes, they also understood what the Blazing Gold race was planning. What do we do? The Blazing Gold race has sent 9 ancient gods, and their leader is a rank 8 ancient god. The yellow-clothed youth of the life-sacred land had a worried look on his face. As a core disciple of the life-sacred land, even if the disciples of the Blazing Gold race wanted to curry favor with him, it would depend on his mood. But at this moment, the other party would definitely kill him mercilessly. The Blazing Gold race followed our path. We have to leave immediately and join up with the other teams in the core area. Only then will we have a chance of survival. Ancient god Profound Devil also had a worried expression. Once the Blazing Gold race team caught up, the 3 of them would be heavily injured, if not killed. That's right. Join up with the other teams. The azure-robed elder was in complete agreement. If the Blazing Gold race wanted to take these ruins for themselves, they would definitely not let any of the other teams go. The three teams that had arrived earlier were no match for the blazing gold race in a one-on-one fight, but if they worked together, they might be able to put up a fight. Swoosh! The three immediately set off, flying forward, no longer caring about the treasures in the core area. Their lives were more important. Without their lives, what use would anything else be? However, the core area was filled with countless rooms of various sizes, and all the buildings could block off divine sense. Finding a team would require some effort. At the same time, the other two teams in the core area knew that the situation was extremely grim, even though they were far from the blazing gold race. How did the Xiling Zone's blazing gold race know of this place? Lin Chengwu had a look of resentment on his face. At the start, he suspected that ancient god Black Extreme had leaked the information. From the looks of it now, this place was not an absolutely hidden place. There were many people who could discover its existence. So that's how it is. I was wondering why the blazing gold race's ancient god gilded gold could possess destruction energy. Zhao Feng wasn't too surprised. During the gambling match between the two races, he had heard quite a bit about ancient god gilded gold. It could be assumed that ancient god gilded gold had stumbled upon these ruins during his travels and obtained some sort of fortune. Let's go find the other two groups that entered the core area. Only by working together can we resist the blazing gold race. Ancient god Black Extreme immediately said, and then he took the lead. Lin Chengwu and the beautiful young woman also knew that this was the only feasible method at the moment, so the two of them immediately followed. Zhao Feng was the last to follow the three of them. As for the little thieving cat on his shoulder, it disappeared in a flash, running off to who knew where. The other side. Let's go this way. There's a team that's about to run into a deadly crisis from the blazing gold race. We must save them and work together. Only then will we have the strength to fight against the blazing gold race. The skinny woman's eyes flashed with colorful light before she suddenly spoke. Let's go. The other members of the team understood the situation and immediately began to move. Guided by the eye of destiny, the group weaved through the complicated rooms and finally heard the sounds of battle. Boom! Bang! Crash! The 9 members of the blazing gold race charged forward like 9 blazing suns. Run! Ancient god, profound devil hurriedly called out, and he used his eye of myriad forms to create countless icy storms to obstruct the blazing gold race. Break! Ancient god, giant spirit roared from the blazing gold race. His body, which was like a blazing sun, emitted a fierce golden light like that of a wild beast. He dashed forward and instantly dispersed the icy storm. Rank 8 Ancient God. The azure-robed elder was taken aback. That enormous and terrifying bloodline divine power aura made him feel a great sense of danger. Ancient God Giant Spirit, you want to kill me? The yellow-clothed youth from the life, sacred land angrily roared. Oof. Ancient God Giant Spirit coldly snorted and continued his pursuit. If not for the fact that he wasn't particularly skilled in speed, he would have already taken down the 3 people in front of him. However, a rank 8 Ancient God was still a rank 8 Ancient God. His intent was profound, his intent powerful, and his divine power pure. Even if he wasn't skilled in speed, he was still far faster than a rank 7 Ancient God. Slowly, Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 3 began to sense a searing physical pressure that was only getting stronger and stronger. They understood that the blazing gold race was about to catch up to them. Devil-shattering heaven flame palm. Ancient God Giant Spirit suddenly circulated his energy and fired off a palm. A scorching palm of fire howled toward Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 3. Block! Ancient God Profound Devil growled, immediately unleashing the myriad form's endless zone to protect himself and the other 2. At the same time, the azure-robed elder and yellow-clothed youth attacked with all their might to weaken Ancient God Giant Spirit's attack. At this moment, a pitch-black spear of death shot out from behind Ancient God Profound Devil's group, joining their attacks and attacking Ancient God Giant Spirit. Boom! Bang! A massive storm of energy wreaked havoc over the core area. The ruins had been completely destroyed, but the core area had been completely preserved. From this, one could see just how sturdy the core area was. But at this moment, the intense clash between the two sides caused the surrounding buildings to slightly twist, and many small instruments were destroyed. At the same time, the mechanisms around the room were activated, indiscriminately attacking everyone in the room. Retreat! Ancient God, giant spirit called out. Even a rank 8 true god like him had to be cautious of the traps in the core area of the ruins. Whoosh! On the other side, Ancient God, Profound Devil, and the Slim Woman's team used this chance to escape. After them, Ancient God, Giant Spirit immediately ordered. If the other team hadn't appeared just now, Ancient God, Profound Devil's group of 3 would have already died to the blazing gold race. Now that there were 7 of them, killing them would be rather troublesome, but as long as they pursued relentlessly, there was still a chance of completely annihilating them. Whoosh! 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 The blazing gold race members charged forward in pursuit. But they didn't chase for long before they realized that the 7 had stopped in a certain room and had no intention of continuing to flee. Careful, it might be a trap. The violet-robed elder warned. In his view, the fact that they were able to safely reach this place meant that they were some sort of trap and array master. They couldn't rule out the possibility that they could use the traps of the core area to deal with them. But before the blazing gold race team could get close, Ancient God, Profound Devil said, "There are 7 of us right now. If you want to kill all of us, it will be extremely difficult, and you'll have to pay a grievous price. Why don't we talk?" Ancient God, Giant Spirit, was stunned. He hadn't expected for the other party to stop and negotiate with him. The blazing gold race discovered this place long ago. If you are willing to hand over what you found on this journey, the blazing gold race will let you live. Ancient God Giant Spirit put on a negotiating appearance as he slowly approached the 7. Although he said this, if he had the chance, Ancient God Giant Spirit wouldn't leave a single one of them alive. The blazing gold race's demands are a little too high. Can we continue to talk? Ancient God, Profound Devil, put on a hesitant look. Then hand over 90%. The blazing gold race team slowly approached. 90% is fine, but let's see if you dare to take it. Ancient God, Profound Devil's conflicted expression instantly shifted. At the same time, the others also unleashed powerful ripples of intent. Truly reckless. Do the 7 of you think you can fight against the blazing gold race? Ancient God, Giant Spirit jeered. But at this moment, 4 figures charged out of a room in the back. It was none other than Zhao Feng's group. The buildings in the core area were extremely unique, almost completely blocking out divine sense. Thus, the blazing gold race had no idea that other enemies were hiding nearby. Extreme Space Blade, Death Coil, Destruction Light, 5 elements yin-yang strike. In a flash, all the God Eye descendants used their ultimate Eye Bloodline techniques to launch fierce attacks on the blazing gold race. The blazing gold race, which had the absolute advantage just a moment ago, had never imagined that the battle would turn out like this. Caught off guard, the blazing gold race suffered a major loss. The 9 of them had suffered injuries of varying sizes. Fortunately, the blazing gold race was skilled in defense, or else their losses would have been even greater. However, even though they had launched a surprise attack, Zhao Feng's side was still weaker than the blazing gold race. "It's you, Zhao Feng." In the blazing gold race group, Ancient God Gilded Gold pointed at Zhao Feng and clenched his teeth. On the other end, Ancient God Gold Fury, who had lost to Zhao Feng in the gambling match, was also stunned. "He's Zhao Feng?" Ancient God Giant Spirit's eyes instantly landed on Zhao Feng, his eyes brimming with killing intent. In the gambling match between the two races, Zhao Feng had single-handedly reversed the situation and humiliated the blazing gold race. Everyone in the blazing gold race, even the workers, hated Zhao Feng. All the members of the blazing gold race were seething with killing intent, and they stared at Zhao Feng as if they wanted to swallow him whole. Although Zhao Feng's eye isn't a descendant of the 8 great god eyes, it's still extremely mysterious and powerful. We can't let him get anything from this place, or else he'll become a massive obstacle for the blazing gold race in the future. Ancient god, giant spirit's voice resounded in the minds of all the members of the blazing gold race. And these 10-some people are just too exhausted. Once they recover, we'll be the ones to lose. The violet-robed elder messaged, his expression darkening. The members of the blazing gold race quickly reached a consensus. Kill. Suddenly, the 8 members of the blazing gold race charged forward. What's going on? The azure-robed elder was stunned. The members of the blazing gold race had been gloomy just a moment ago, but now they were seething with killing intent as they charged forward. They were willing to fight to the death with no regard for their own lives. They've gone crazy. Ancient god, departed spirit, silently cursed. He believed that the 3 teams working together would be able to intimidate the blazing gold race, and had just breathed a sigh of relief. But the blazing gold race seemed to have gone mad. Even though the 2 sides were evenly matched in strength, they still attacked. Chapter 1308. The blazing gold race's sudden assault caught the god eye descendants off guard. Devil-shattering sky flame palm. Ancient god giant spirit led the charge. Circulating his divine power, he unleashed a massive palm of golden flames that seemed capable of extinguishing the sun. At the same time, the other members of the blazing gold race charged forward. Their target is me. Zhao Feng's heart chilled. He realized that everyone on the blazing gold race's side was targeting him. Of course, the other god eye descendants had also noticed this. They want to kill Zhao Feng. The yellow-robed youth from the life-sacred land immediately called out. He was well aware of the grudge between the blazing gold race and Zhao Feng. Damn, this brat. Ancient god-departed spirit glanced at Zhao Feng and cursed. It turned out that the blazing gold race's fierce assault was largely due to Zhao Feng. But now, they had no time to run in the face of the blazing gold race's frenzied assault, so they could only work together to block. Death Spear. Heaven Void Slash. The god eye descendants once more activated their eye bloodlines to block. As for the god eye descendants, the slim woman with the Eye of Destiny had long ago vanished. She had clearly anticipated the urgency of the situation and retreated. After all, the Eye of Destiny was extremely weak. If they stayed near the battlefield, they could be killed by the shockwaves. Kill. The members of the blazing gold race were all brimming with fighting spirit and peerless power. Although the blazing gold race's primary target was Zhao Feng, it had no intention of letting the others go. Retreat. Ancient god, profound devil roared. The god eye descendants had been constantly using eye bloodline techniques, and before entering the core area, the majority of them had even used up their most exhausting trump cards. Not only had they expended enormous amounts of divine power, but their eye bloodlines were also exhausted. Let's retreat for now. Once we recover some strength, we'll counterattack, Ancient God Black Extreme said. After blocking the first round of attacks, the God Eye descendants immediately chose to retreat. But the Blazing Gold race was still unwilling to let them go. Even after the God Eye descendants had left the core area, the Blazing Gold race was still in pursuit. In addition, their escape route had to be free of traps, or else they would be walking to their deaths. Thus, the God Eye descendants continued to circle around the core area. Damn, has the Blazing Gold race gone mad? Just how long are they going to keep chasing us? The beautiful young woman shouted. It's better to hand over Zhao Feng. The Blazing Gold race's primary target is Zhao Feng. One person in the team transmitted his voice to everyone except Zhao Feng. The others immediately began to think. Only Ancient God Black Extreme and Ancient God Profound Devil had different expressions. Even so, the Blazing Gold race still won't let us go. Suddenly, Ancient God Profound Devil messaged everyone. The others were puzzled. If the Blazing Gold race would let us go if we handed over Zhao Feng, they would have already made this request. From the fact that they've been relentlessly pursuing us, It seems like they want to force us out of this place. Ancient God Black Extreme also spoke. Everyone was puzzled. Logically speaking, it was impossible for these two to protect Zhao Feng. However, the two of them were right. Although the Blazing Gold race's primary target was Zhao Feng, they would not so easily let the others go. After all, once the God Eye descendants recovered their peak strength, they would be far stronger than the Blazing Gold race. Thus, the Blazing Gold race only had two primary targets. The first was to kill Zhao Feng, and the second was to drive out the other God Eye descendants. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. A string of figures flew into a massive central hall. This place is... All the God Eye descendants were taken aback. They had only been randomly running around the core area, not even trying to figure out their route. The hall they had entered was extremely large, and the walls were decorated with solemn murals and Heaven's Legacy race characters. It was completely different from the other rooms they had passed through. The hall was also surrounded by large mechanical devices that they couldn't understand. But what attracted their attention the most was the massive octagonal device in the center. 8 transparent crystals extended from the octagonal device, and within each of these crystals floated a pair of eyes. The eyes of the 8 great God Eye descendants were all within these crystals. This place should be the most valuable place in the core area. The beautiful girl immediately said. The gazes of the others were all focused on the 8 pairs of eyes. Those eyes of space-time are close to the quasi-God Eye level. The Eye of Death is also close to that level. All the God Eye descendants couldn't help but gasp. The 8 pairs of God Eye descendants here were all close to the quasi-God Eye level. Just what is this research-based researching that it managed to produce 8 pairs of God Eye descendants that are close to the quasi-God Eye level? Lin Chengwu was extremely shocked, but based on their understanding and reasoning, they naturally couldn't guess what the Heaven's Legacy race was trying to do. Kaboom! At this moment, a pressure that seemed capable of burning all things rumbled forward. Devil shattering heaven flame palm. The moment ancient God giant spirit appeared, he unleashed a palm at the God Eye descendants. Only then did he take a look at the situation. Let's go. Ancient God profound devil called out. The God Eye descendants once more fled, at the same time observing the situation behind them. This hall was the most crucial part of the core area. They didn't know if the Blazing Gold race would give up on the pursuit and choose to fight for the treasure. But to everyone's surprise, the Blazing Gold race chose to continue the pursuit. The pursuit continued for a long time. The God Eye descendants, who had already expended a great deal of energy, were even more out of sorts. A few of them were even attacked by the Blazing Gold race and sustained significant injuries as they were pursued. Once more, the group arrived at the central hall of the core area. The God Eye descendants stared at the octagonal device in the center, their hearts pounding in excitement. This isn't the way to go on. The beautiful girl's eyes were rather gloomy. She was not very fighting, and her ability to flee was also weak. In the early explorations of the God Eye ruins, the Samsara immortal bodies had been used as cannon fodder. As long as the Samsara immortal bodies were not completely killed, they could constantly recover, but once they were completely killed, the Eye of Samsara would have to pay a price and spend time to summon them back. Unless we leave these ruins, they won't let us go. The yellow-clothed youth from the life-sacred land had a hesitant look in his eyes. He was already planning to retreat. Fight out with them. As long as we can kill that rank 8 ancient god, the other rank 7 ancient gods will be easy to deal with. Ancient God departed spirit's face was savage and his mind was boiling with rage. Then let's stay and fight it out with them. Ancient God profound devil softly chuckled. Ancient God departed spirit immediately stared at ancient God profound devil. He had said those words just now purely out of anger. He was rather surprised that the usually calm ancient God profound devil had agreed to those words out of anger. The others couldn't help but look at ancient God profound devil. At this moment, the Blazing Gold race members caught up. You're not running anymore? Ancient God giant spirit gave a mocking laugh. In truth, he was also rather angry. These God Eye descendants had been chased for so long, but they still weren't willing to give up on the treasures of the core area. Haha, you're at death's door and you still don't know. Ancient God Black Extreme suddenly laughed, his cold and sinister gaze shooting at Ancient God Giant Spirit. At this moment, the God-Eye descendants stared in shock at Ancient God Black Extreme. Ancient God Profound Devil's words just now were off, and now, Ancient God Black Extreme was acting like a madman, speaking without thinking. Even if everyone on their side recovered to their peak state, it was still rather unrealistic for them to kill a rank 8 ancient god of the blazing gold race. But Zhao Feng's eyes suddenly turned solemn. He knew long ago that Ancient God Black Extreme, Ancient God Profound Devil, and the Slim Woman were in cahoots. These three groups of God-Eye descendants had also been organized by them, but Zhao Feng had no idea what their goal was. However, the appearance of the blazing gold race was probably an accident. What sort of ability do these two have to say such words to Ancient God Giant Spirit? Zhao Feng began to think. He didn't know what sort of changes Ancient God Black Extreme and Ancient God Profound Devil would cause. But Zhao Feng's mind inexplicably became uneasy. Right, the Eye of Destiny has disappeared. Zhao Feng suddenly realized something. Haha, I originally thought that it would be enough to just drive you out of these ruins, but now that you've sent yourselves to your deaths, don't blame me. Ancient God Giant Spirit's eyes exploded with cold light, and his golden body was instantly covered in a layer of golden flames. A boundless scorching pressure rumbled toward the God-Eye descendants. Kill! The other members of the blazing gold race all activated their physical strength, golden flames seething around them like miniature suns. Whoosh! At this moment, a figure suddenly emerged from a side path of the central hall. It was none other than the Slim Woman who had fled to some place earlier. You're finally here. Ancient God Profound Devil sneered. Whoosh! Whoosh! Ancient God Profound Devil and Ancient God Black Extreme broke away from the group of God-Eye descendants and arrived at the Slim Woman's side. The three of you? The many God-Eye descendants turned to the trio, grimacing. Ancient God Profound Devil, Ancient God Black Extreme, and the Slim Woman were the leaders of the three groups. Among them, Ancient God Black Extreme was the founder of Zhao Feng's group. Zhao Feng's group shivered as they smelled the scent of scheme. What do you want to do? If you break away from the group, you'll only bring about our destruction. The beautiful woman immediately rebuked, who said that there were only 3 of us. Ancient God Profound Devil faintly chuckled. Swish, swish, swish. At the same time, 3 black-robed figures emerged from the passage. All of them were God-Eye descendants. That truly a lot. Our 3 groups were dealt with long ago. A black-robed man with the eye of divine punishment mocked. But since you ran into the blazing gold race, it's normal that your plan didn't go smoothly. A tall and muscular man calmly said. There's someone else? The blazing gold race's ancient god, giant spirit's expression darkened, but he was in no rush to attack. He had no idea where the woman with the Eye of Destiny had found 3 more helpers. If they worked together, the blazing gold race was certain to lose. But something didn't seem right about the situation. There were 6 of them. Zhao Feng's eyes lit up in surprise. These 6 were the 3 black-robed men who had just arrived. Ancient God Black Extreme, Ancient God Profound Devil, and the Slim Woman. However, Zhao Feng was pondering their words. Those 3 groups were dealt with long ago. What does that mean? Zhao Feng's eyes were gradually filled with shock. He couldn't help but think that these 6 people had each led a team to explore these ruins. But before that, the members of the other 3 teams had all been killed. After playing around with you all for so long, it's finally over. Ancient God Profound Devil coldly said. The other 5 all stepped forward. The 6 of them stood in a row, and each of their eye bloodlines suddenly surged with origin power. Not good. Zhao Feng grimaced, his heart thumping in his chest. For some reason, the moment he saw this, he couldn't help but recall the scene of the 5 God-Eye descendants using a secret art to heavily wound true God Tian Fa back in the Continent Zone. Chapter 1309. I've been playing with you guys for a long time, and now it's finally over. Ancient God, profound devil coldly said. Originally, the three of them planned to have the members of the team meet in the core area and then fight and kill each other, ultimately capturing all the God descendants in one fell swoop. But the appearance of the blazing gold race had ruined their plans. Even if the two sides were to fight and both sides were heavily injured in the end, the three of them would not be able to clean up the mess. That was why the thin woman had left in search of her other companions. Now that the six of them had gathered, they no longer had to flee. The other 5 people stepped forward. The 6 of them stood in a row, and each of their eye bloodlines suddenly surged with a shocking amount of origin energy. Not good. Zhao Feng's expression changed abruptly, and his heart skipped a beat. For some reason, the scene of the 5 God descendants using a secret technique to severely injure true God Tian Fa appeared in his mind when he saw this scene. However, the others didn't think so. I don't know why you've lured us here, but your plan has failed. What's the use of your current strength? Ancient God, departed spirit sneered. Ancient God, profound devil. Ancient God, black extreme. And the cold woman were the leaders of their teams and the ones who had initiated this mission. Now, they were walking with another group of people. The God descendants naturally understood that this God ruin had been a trap from the very start. If the blazing gold race hadn't appeared, the 3 groups in the core area would have probably begun to slaughter each other. But the appearance of the blazing gold race had caused the 3 factions to ally together, ruining their plans. However, the current situation was not good either. They were originally no match for the blazing gold race, but now, Ancient God Black Extreme and Ancient God Profound Devil had left. However, Ancient God Profound Devil's team only had 6 people, and the Eye of Destiny had no fighting power. They could be considered the weakest of the 3 factions. However, the mysterious mission initiators were the most arrogant ones present. He had said in front of the blazing gold race that Ancient God Giant Spirit's death was imminent, and now he was saying that he wanted everything to end. Many members of the blazing gold race were furious, but they were stopped by Ancient God Giant Spirit and the violet-robed elder. They couldn't defeat everyone here, so they had to be cautious. No matter what you want to do, it's all over now. Ancient God Profound Devil's gaze indifferently swept over the crowd. No one in his eyes. The moment he finished speaking, the origin energy of the 6 God descendants was activated. Origin energy? What do they want to do? The God descendants were all shocked. The origin energy was the foundation of the eye, and it was rarely used unless it was absolutely necessary. The blazing gold descendants were not. The origin energy of 6 God wasn't enough for them to care. In the crowd, the person with the greatest change in expression was Zhao Feng. God knew it. Zhao Feng couldn't help but take a few steps back. He had personally witnessed the power of the God fusion art. Even if it was an expert of a higher level, it could be instantly killed. Zhao Feng calmed down. Zhao, origin energy. But a moment later, Zhao Feng's eyes turned grave. The 6 God descendants, led by Ancient God Profound Devil, all began to form spells to control their origin energies and fuse them together. It seems like I underestimated them. Zhao Feng's heart tightened. He remembered that of the 5 God descendants in the continent zone, 4 of them had only released their origin energy for Sacred King Samsara to control. But now, all 6 of them were controlling their origin energy. This meant that the power of the God fusion art would be even more refined and perfect. On the blazing gold race's side, Ancient God Giant Spirit and the violet-robed elder slightly frowned. They felt like something was wrong. Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 was far too confident and calm, and their current actions were also very strange. We can't act recklessly. If we attack Ancient God Profound Devil's team, Zhao Feng's team will definitely work together with them to deal with us. The violet-robed elder messaged the others. But a moment later, Ancient God Giant Spirit growled and transformed into a ball of golden light that shot toward Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6. It appeared that ancient god Profound Devil's team wasn't much of a threat to them. But ancient god Giant Spirit sensed that what they were doing was not simple. If they didn't stop them, something terrifying would happen. Devil shattering heaven flame palm. Ancient god Giant Spirit fused his physical body and bloodline divine power into a massive mountain of golden flames that rumbled toward ancient god Profound Devil's team. Go! Ancient god Profound Devil sensed ancient god Giant Spirit's movements and used his mind to take out a triangular piece of metal from his interspatial dimension. Ding ding! Crack! The triangular piece of metal was activated, and several complicated patterns appeared on its surface. Following that, rays of dark silver light screens shot out from 3 sides, forming a seamless barrier that enveloped the 6 of them. Bang! Ancient god Giant Spirit's peerless palm fiercely slammed against the silver curtain of light. However, his all-out attack was actually blocked by the dark silver barrier. Kaboom! The 2 energies fiercely clashed. After a long while, the silver barrier gradually dimmed, but the power of ancient god Giant Spirit's palm had also completely vanished. Ding ding! The triangular piece of metal fell to the ground. It was obvious that this was a one-time use item. Once it was used up, it would become useless. Everyone present, including ancient god Giant Spirit, was startled. It could easily block the full-strength attack of a rank 8 ancient god. This could be considered a life-saving trump card. He actually managed to block it. Ancient god Giant Spirit grimaced, and then he began to circulate his energy in preparation to strike again. But at this moment, he suddenly sensed a power that reigned over all things, a deadly crisis descending on his body. Boom! BZZ! Above the heads of ancient god Profound Devil's group of 6 floated a mysterious and distorted energy. This energy was ethereal, as if it didn't exist, but it was able to affect all things in the world, as if it was the ruler of the world. From a distance, one could even make out a faintly discernible eye within this ethereal energy. Whoosh! Ancient god Giant Spirit swiftly retreated back to the blazing gold race team. This energy. On the other side, the god-eye descendants all grimaced. Their eyes were fixed on the indistinct ball of energy above ancient god Profound Devil's group. How could this be? It's the energy of a god-eye. All the god-eye descendants could clearly sense the supreme god-eye energy that was unique in the world. If they hadn't personally seen this group of 6 use a secret art and display this energy, they would never have believed it. They would even believe that one of these 6 possessed a god-eye, or that they had a god-eye deity backing them. Not good. Retreat for now. Ancient god Giant Spirit called out as he took the lead in flying away. This energy was simply too terrifying. It was absolutely capable of posing a lethal threat to him. When he thought back to his previous actions, ancient god Profound Devil's group of 6 would never let the blazing gold race go. Let's go. The other members of the blazing gold race saw that ancient god Profound Devil was leaving and immediately followed. On the other side, Zhao Feng was also thinking about retreating. Today, not a single person will be able to escape. The indistinct ancient god Profound Devil coldly laughed. See you. The 6 of them began to form spells, as if sensing the indistinct energy above them. Suddenly, an indistinct barrier of light erupted from the indistinct energy and spread out in every direction. In a flash, this barrier of light engulfed the entire central hall. A domain, ancient god Giant Spirit, who was just about to escape, sensed the domain energy in front of him. He immediately circulated his energy, fused it with space intent, and punched. Boom! Bang! The fiery fist was intercepted when it reached the boundary of the void. Even more bizarre was that the power of the fist gradually weakened. Less than 2 seconds later, the sun-like fiery light was reduced to a tiny firefly and eventually vanished. This is... On the other side, Zhao Feng's expression turned grim. Ancient god Giant Spirit's fist did no damage to the domain. It was as if its energy had been absorbed. If this was the case, not even he would be able to escape. They were also using the God Eye fusion art, but the secret art used by ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 was clearly of a higher level. Furthermore, the 6 of them were all capable of controlling that power. Thus, the abilities that they were capable of unleashing were also extremely varied. All of you are like turtles in a jar. Ancient God Black Extreme coldly laughed. You intruded on our territory without our permission. Your only fate is death. Ancient God Profound Devil's gaze fell on the blazing gold race group. Buzz. BZZ. As they formed spells, the indistinct energy above their heads seemed to respond and began to beat like a heart. Suddenly, an indistinct chain shot out. The front of this chain had a sharp awl. Billish. The chain shot toward the blazing gold race member Ancient God Giant Spirit. Damn! Ancient God Giant Spirit's face was ashen as he took out a square golden shield. Clink-clang. The awl at the front of the chain pierced straight into the golden square shield. How could this be? That's a high-quality, divine artifact. Ancient God Giant Spirit began to panic. He couldn't sense just what kind of energy the chain contained. However, this power gave him a sense of deadly danger. It easily pierced through his high-quality defensive god artifact. Although this was only a low-quality, high-quality divine artifact, it was still a high-quality divine artifact. Swish! A few moments later, the chain pierced through the golden shield. But before this happened, Ancient God Giant Spirit had already dodged. The chain passed through the spot where his body had vanished. Swoosh! A member of the blazing gold race in the back was pierced by the chain. Bang! The moment his body was pierced through, it exploded. The golden soul within his body was also pulled in by the chain. No matter how it struggled, it couldn't break free. In the end, his soul gradually dimmed and vanished. An instant kill in one blow. There was no doubt about it. Everyone had witnessed the entire process. Their bodies were frozen in place, like petrified statues in an ice house. A rank 8 ancient god had to flee. A high-quality divine artifact had been broken, and a rank 7 ancient god had been instantly killed. Just what sort of power was this? Chapter 13:10. He actually dodged it. Ancient God Profound Devil's calm voice broke the silence. Just what kind of energy was that? The violet-robed elder of the blazing gold race team said in a trembling voice. It killed a rank 7 ancient god without even being able to struggle, instantly obliterating even his soul. Anyone else who was pierced by that indistinct chain would probably suffer the same fate. Nearby, Ancient God Giant Spirit's face was ghastly pale, his heart still palpitating in fear. Even though he was a rank 8 ancient god, if he hadn't dodged just now, he would probably have been instantly killed just like that person. Zhao Feng's expression chilled. Back in the Continent Zone, Sacred King Samsura's secret art was only used once before consuming all its energy, making it extremely powerful and extremely difficult to dodge. The secret art used by these 6 didn't seem to consume much energy after being used once and could be used again. However, the power and performance of the attack were all weakened. How could this be? How could they be so strong? Ancient God Departed Spirit was stunned. He had previously said that Ancient God Profound Devil's group wouldn't be able to do anything. But now, Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 had displayed a mysterious energy that was imbued with the energy of a god, that instantly killed a rank 7 ancient god. Next time, you won't be so lucky. Ancient God Profound Devil coldly snorted. At the same time, Ancient God Black Extreme began to form a spell. Another chain extended from the ball of void energy above their heads. It was exactly the same as the first chain. Oh no! Ancient God Giant Spirit grimaced. This time, he seemed to still be the target, and there was an extra chain, making it even harder for him to dodge. Everyone, they've already sealed off this place. If we don't get rid of them, we'll all die here. Ancient God Giant Spirit worriedly suggested to the God Eye descendants on Zhao Feng's side that they work together. That's all we can do right now. Ancient God Departed Spirit's expression darkened. From the very start, Ancient God Profound Devil's target had been the God Eye descendants. Although Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 was dealing with the Blazing Gold Race group, they would never let them go. We have to undo their secret art. The green-robed old man's eyes flickered. The secret art used by Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 possessed the power to annihilate all. Even Ancient God Giant Spirit feared it. But once their secret art was broken, the 6 of them would just be ordinary rank 7 ancient gods. Whether it was the Blazing Gold Race or the temporary alliance of the azure-robed elder, Ancient God Departed Spirit, and Zhao Feng, all of them could deal with them. In addition, the azure-robed elder was extremely interested in the secret art of Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6. Zhao Feng didn't avoid allying with the Blazing Gold Race. After all, the most important thing right now was to leave alive. Zhao Feng sensed that he was one of the main targets of Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6, so he urgently wanted to eliminate this threat. Gradually, the Blazing Gold Race and Zhao Feng's group began to move toward the center. Useless. Ancient God Profound Devil had an indifferent expression as if he didn't care. Ding ding. 2 chains shot out from within the void energy. Seeing these 2 chains that were like poisonous snakes of death, everyone's hearts couldn't help but turn cold. Dot. The azure-robed elder called out in alarm. If one was hit by the void chain, one would definitely die. The chain's target is me. Use this chance to attack them and break their secret art. Ancient God Giant Spirit bellowed as he used a secret speed skill, transforming into a golden streak of light and flying away. Okay. The God Eye descendants charged at Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6. The other members of the Blazing Gold Race did their utmost to attack the chains so that they could obstruct them and give Ancient God Giant Spirit a chance to dodge. There's finally something to do. The other 3 God Eye descendants in Ancient God Profound Devil's group all began to form spells to sense the void energy above them. Bzzz. The eyeball-like distorted power immediately spread out a curtain of nothingness that enveloped the 6 of them. Death Light Wave. Destruction Light. The owners of the Eye of Death and Destruction in Zhao Feng's group circulated their Eye Intent and used their powerful Eye Bloodline techniques. A layer of dark black light wave and a dazzling golden ray of light instantly descended on the illusory light screen. But the scene they imagined did not appear. The powerful attacks of the 2 God Eye descendants landed on the barrier of light, but they only caused a ripple to appear. Swish! Destruction and death energies attacked the screen with all their might, attempting to break it. But in the end, these 2 energies were completely exhausted, and their attacks had no effect. How could this be? Even Death Intent and Destruction Intent are useless? The azure-robed elder was stunned. Death and destruction were 2 of the most powerful intent energies. However, their attacks did not cause any damage to the illusory light screen at all. Let me try. Lin Xingwu's body flickered as he activated his Eye of Space-Time. Extreme Space Blade. A gold and silver blade condensed in front of his eye. Booish. The gold and silver blade suddenly vanished, and when it reappeared, it was in front of the screen. Even Space Intent is useless. Lin Xingwu was alarmed. Just now, he wanted to use his space-time Eye Bloodline technique to pierce through the screen and attack one of the people within. But when his extreme space blade approached the screen, it was forced to reveal itself. Swoosh! Swish! The piercing gold-and-silver blade collided with the screen, but in the end, it ran out of energy and slowly faded away. Earth-shaking Nova. Zhao Feng also used a few Eye Bloodline techniques, but they were all stopped by the screen. On the other side, Ancient God Giant Spirit was powerful and had many tricks up his sleeves. Coupled with the help of the other members of the Blazing Gold Race, the 2 chains were unable to take his life. As Ancient God Giant Spirit fled, he would occasionally observe the progress of Zhao Feng's side. How could this be? Not even the intent energy of a God, a descendant, can break through their secret defense? Ancient God Giant Spirit's face was ashen. Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 could be said to have the strongest spear and shield. Ancient God Profound Devil, don't save any more energy. Just kill that rank 8 true God, and the rest will be easy to deal with. The slim woman's eye of destiny scanned the battlefield as she spoke. Okay. Ancient God Profound Devil's expression darkened, his eyes exploding with cold light. Suddenly, the two chains shrunk back to their original position. What's going on? Ancient God Giant Spirit was taken aback as he solemnly stared at Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6. This was a clear indication that their opponents would not so easily stop. Not good. They're going to change their method of attack. Zhao Feng's heart sank. He was keenly aware of the true power of this secret art. Buzz. BZZ. At this moment, the indistinct ball of energy began to twist and exude a mysterious luster. This faint luster faintly outlined an indistinct eye. Not good. Ancient God, Giant Spirit's body trembled. As this eye of void stared at him, he felt like his flesh, divine power, and soul had all given up on resisting and directly submitted. At this moment, Ancient God, Giant Spirit, truly sensed an unprecedented danger of death, and his soul began to tremble. Boom! Suddenly, the eye of void exploded with light, and then a ball of indistinct energy shot out. No, I don't want to die. Ancient God Giant Spirit's eyes almost popped out of their sockets, a look of fear and despair on their faces. He could clearly sense that no matter where he ran, he would not be able to avoid this attack. But Ancient God Giant Spirit did not want to just die like this. He burned his origin divine power, transforming into a golden sun as he prepared to flee in another direction. But just when he was about to move, that ethereal, mysterious, all-dominating power descended right in front of him. No! Bang! Apocalyptic explosions swallowed up Ancient God Giant Spirit screams. Several spatial cracks appeared in the center of the explosion, tearing at everything around them. In the end, when the destructive storm stopped, nothing was left in that area. Ancient God Giant Spirit had been instantly killed. Ancient God Giant Spirit. This is impossible. After a few moments of shock, all the members of the Blazing Gold race began to cry out in alarm. The leader of their team, the strongest Ancient God Giant Spirit, had been instantly slain by his foe. What sort of energy is this? The God-Eye descendants around Zhao Feng were also stunned, swallowing their saliva in shock. Even if I'm a samsara immortal body, I can't escape death. The beautiful girl couldn't help but tremble. She had never feared death before, but for the first time, she felt the terror of death. That's how it should be. If we don't show them what we're made of, they'll think that they're so amazing. Ancient God Black Extreme sneered. That move just now was too powerful. It almost destroyed all the precious research results here. Let's take them away first, the slim woman calmly said. The attack that killed Ancient God Giant Spirit had already destroyed a nearby machine and almost destroyed the octagonal device in the center. The rest of them nodded in agreement. Their primary mission this time was to take away the research results and data from these ruins. Capturing the God-Eye descendants was just a side mission. Swish, swish, swish. The 6 of them took out various strange tools and activated them. A moment later, the many devices in the central hall began to react and operate. Ding ding, crack. Many of the devices began to shrink and move in front of the 6. They can actually control the devices of the Heaven's Legacy race. How could this be? Could they be members of the Heaven's Legacy race? Everyone stared in shock at this sight. However, Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 had already forgotten about the others and were focused on their own tasks. It didn't take long before the central hall became rather empty, leaving only the octagonal device in the center. We can't operate this device. Take away the research results and the data inside. Ancient God Profound Devil straightforwardly said, and then he tried to operate the device. Several strange sounds could be heard. The transparent crystals holding the eyes of the 8 god descendants detached from the octagonal device. Eyes close to the quasi-god eye. Ancient god-departed spirit was startled. If he could obtain a pair of eyes of death that were close to the quasi-god eye level, his eye of death might be able to absorb the energy within them and undergo an enormous transformation. Evolving into the quasi-god eye level was not impossible. But at this moment, he didn't dare to do anything. The other god eye descendants also deeply desired those 8 pairs of eyes, but none of them dared to do anything. But at this moment, a dark silver light flashed in front of one of the entrances to the central hall. Though-ish. In an instant, the streak of light arrived above a transparent crystal, and the little thieving cat's slender body was revealed. Not good. It's a Heaven's Legacy cat. Ancient God Profound Devil immediately called out. Is it really a Heaven's Legacy cat? In Ancient God Profound Devil's team, the Eye of Divine Punishment that arrived later was stunned. Chapter 13:11. At this moment, everyone's eyes were focused on the little thieving cat. Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 was stunned to encounter a real Heaven's Legacy cat here. Everyone else was shocked. That thieving cat was so reckless as to dare encroach on the bloodlines of 8 god eye descendants. But when they saw the expressions on the faces of Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6, they couldn't help but be surprised and confused. From their appearance, this cat seemed to be extremely extraordinary. It seemed to be on the same level as the 8 pairs of god eye descendants. Little thieving cat. Zhao Feng was shocked. Outsiders could not carelessly touch the equipment of the Heaven's Legacy race, as there would inevitably be traps. In addition, the 8 pairs of god eye descendant eyes were the primary target of Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6. If the little thieving cat jumped onto them, it would definitely infuriate them. But in the next instant, the little thieving cat's actions once more stunned everyone, including Zhao Feng. The little thieving cat opened its mouth wide and swallowed a translucent crystal under its paw. Not good. The Heaven's Legacy cat has swallowed the research results. Ancient God Profound Devil grimaced. As expected of a Heaven's Legacy cat, even swallowing an important instrument of the Heaven's Legacy race was not affected at all. The Eye of Divine Punishment in Ancient God Profound Devil's team sighed in surprise. Why is this cat so powerful? Lin Chengwu, who had seen the little thieving cat before, paused. However, it's really courting death. I don't know what its master is thinking. The yellow-clothed youth of the life sacred land sneered. In his view, the little thieving cat's actions were definitely ordered by Zhao Feng. However, the little thieving cat had angered Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6, so it was certain to be their next target. Anyone who faced that mysterious power would die, and the little thieving cat was no exception. Xiao. The little thieving cat swallowed one of the transparent crystals that contained an eye bloodline, and then quickly left. Catch it. Ancient God Profound Devil immediately called out. There's no need for you to say anything. This is a Heaven's Legacy cat, so we naturally can't let it go. Ancient God Black Extreme's eyes flashed. The others also stared at the little thieving cat, determined to obtain it. Buzz. The 6 of them formed hand seals at the same time, causing the power of the Eye of Nothingness above their heads to twist and crackle. Suddenly, 3 illusory belts of light extended from within. Xiao! 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 The instant the ribbon of light appeared, it shot toward the little thieving cat with lightning speed. However, after the little thieving cat's transformation, its movement technique had reached perfection. Even Zhao Feng's God Spiritual eye could only barely catch its movements. Xiao! The little thieving cat turned into a streak of dark silver light and disappeared. But Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 somehow managed to track the little thieving cat's escape route. They controlled the 3 belts of light to change directions and surround the little thieving cat from 3 different directions. Everyone, this is an opportunity. Ancient God-departed spirit's eyes darkened as he messaged the others. Needless to say, everyone immediately understood. At this moment, the majority of Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 was focused on the little thieving cat. This was the perfect opportunity for their counterattack. So. The God-Eye Descendants and the Blazing Gold Race charged forward. Death Spear, Extreme Space Blade, Blazing Fire God Fist. For a moment, both sides unleashed powerful attacks on Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6. Oof, I knew that you would do this. If not for the appearance of the Heaven's Legacy Cat, you wouldn't even have a chance to jump around. Ancient God Black Extreme sneered. Other than the 3 controlling the belts of light, the other 3 immediately summoned their own energy to form a defensive barrier. Although there were many attackers, they were extremely confident in the power produced by the God-Eye fusion art. Unless it was a certain level of energy, it would be useless. Boom, bang, crash. All the attacks landed on the barrier, but they were still unable to shake it in the slightest. Just what kind of energy is this? It can actually stop the all-out attacks of so many people. After a shock, Ancient God-departed spirit grimaced. The others were also infuriated. The strength of this energy had already defied common sense. It seems like these 6 people often cultivate this secret art. Otherwise, how could they use the power of the God-Eye fusion art with such familiarity and precision? Zhao Feng was rather stunned. Moreover, these people were skilled in mechanisms and arrays, and they could even use the machines of the Heaven's Legacy race. In Zhao Feng's view, these people belonged to some faction. Continue the attack. This energy can't be used limitlessly. Lin Chengwu called out. This statement was immediately agreed upon by the others present. If they did nothing, it would be the same as waiting for death. Moreover, Lin Chengwu's words were absolutely correct. This energy could not be limitless. Otherwise, Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 would not have instantly killed Ancient God Giant Spirit right from the start. Boom, bang, crash. The God-Eye Descendants and Blazing Gold Race once more roused themselves and began to use powerful combat skills to bombard the barrier. Damn, these people! Ancient God Black Extreme clenched his teeth and grunted. The God-Eye fusion art extracted the origin energy from the eyes of the 6 of them. The more origin energy they consumed, the more damage they would do to their eye bloodlines. If they used up all their origin energy in one go, they would deal a destructive blow to their eye bloodlines, and there was even a chance that they would lose their eye bloodlines. The silent replies of Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 made both sides even more certain of this point. For the sake of their own lives, all of them worked together and madly attacked. However, some people also began to notice the little thieving cat. After all, it was the little thieving cat that gave them the opportunity to attack Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6. Swish! The little thieving cat was like a dark silver streak of light as it flew through the central hall. Behind it, 3 streaks of light seemed to follow the little thieving cat as if they had a tracking system. Boom! Bang! Every time the 3 beams of light missed, they would strike the surrounding buildings of the palace, leaving behind a sharp gash. One had to realize that even a rank 7 ancient god would find it rather difficult to damage these buildings. That cat's so formidable, it still hasn't been caught. These 3 ribbons of light are even faster than the chain attacks. Back then, Ancient God Giant Spirit was almost struck, but this little thieving cat can rely on itself to contend with these 3 ribbons of light. As they attacked, they couldn't help but observe the little thieving cat's situation. Those who knew that the little thieving cat was Zhao Feng's pet were all the more envious. How wonderful would it be if they could use such a powerful pet? Meow. As if it had heard everyone's praise, the little thieving cat gave them a smug grin as it fled. It seemed to be quite pleased with itself. Everyone was instantly amused by the little thieving cat's actions. But a moment later, their faces suddenly grimaced as if they had been struck by lightning, and their bodies went stiff. The little thieving cat's movements had slowed down a little. The three belts of light suddenly sped up and wrapped around the little thieving cat. Meow! The little thieving cat struggled for its life in the belts of light, but it couldn't escape. However, the three belts of light only seemed to be restraining the little thieving cat, not harming it. Not good. That cat. All of them couldn't help but feel regret. They shouldn't have affected the little thieving cat. That thieving cat? Only Zhao Feng revealed a look of confusion after his initial shock. In his view, the little thieving cat would never make this sort of mistake. It seemed more like it was intentionally getting caught. The Heaven's Legacy cat. We finally caught it. Ancient God, Profound, Devil's Group of 6 were extremely excited. Swish! They controlled the belts of light to pull the little thieving cat over. Meow! The little thieving cat meowed pitifully and suddenly opened its mouth. At the same time, Zhao Feng began to rush over. It's no use. Ancient God, Profound Devil faintly chuckled, but his eyes were fixed on Zhao Feng. Besides the research results and data and the Heaven's Legacy cat, Zhao Feng was also one of the more important targets. After all, he wasn't a descendant of one of the 8 great god eyes, but he had a quasi-god eye. This was far too strange. Moreover, the abilities of Zhao Feng's eyes were no weaker than those of a descendant of one of the 8 great god eyes. At this moment, as long as Zhao Feng went to save the little thieving cat, he would immediately take control of one of the belts of light and bind Zhao Feng as well. However, once Zhao Feng got a certain distance from the little thieving cat, he stopped. At this moment, several objects flew out of the little thieving cat's mouth. There was a test tube as thick as an arm that contained an unknown ancient bloodline. There was also an extremely small test tube that seemed to contain a special medicine. There were also a few other objects that had been gathered from the core area. These are all treasures that we can't get from the core area. Heavens! This thieving cat. When did it steal all of this? The God Eye descendants and Blazing Gold race were all stunned. They all understood that these precious objects were almost always protected. If an outsider touched them, a trap would be activated. But the little thieving cat had managed to steal all of these things without anyone noticing. Just how had it done this? At this moment, even Ancient God, Profound, Devil's Group of 6 was infuriated. These were all important resources of the core area. That's... Lin Xingwu's eyes flashed as he focused on one of the objects. This was a translucent crystal, and within it was a pair of eyes that were close to the quasi-god eye level. The other god eye descendants were immediately attracted by this object, but it was already too late for them to take it. The moment the little thieving cat spat out these objects, Zhao Feng put them all into his interspatial dimension. After doing all this, the little thieving cat was dragged to the side of Ancient God, Profound Devil's Group. The 3 belts of light immediately transformed into a layer of liquid that covered the little thieving cat's body and completely imprisoned it. The Heaven's Legacy cat has been captured. Ancient God, Profound Devil growled as he put the little thieving cat into his special interspatial dimension. There's still quite a bit of energy left. It should be enough to finish off all of you. A sinister and savage smile appeared on Ancient God Black Extreme's cold and sinister face. The God Eye descendants and Blazing Gold race members once more felt a threat of death, and their bodies couldn't help but tremble. Chapter 13:12. There's still quite a bit of energy left. It's enough to finish off all of you. A sinister and savage smile appeared on Ancient God Black Extreme's cold and sinister face. At this point, the rank 8 Ancient God Giant Spirit had been killed, and the mysterious and powerful little thieving cat had been captured. And from his tone, it was clear that he would not let any of them go. Little thieving cat. Zhao Feng's expression darkened. Before the little thieving cat was completely imprisoned by Ancient God Profound Devil's Group of 6, he had received a message from the little thieving cat telling him not to worry. But this moment, Zhao Feng had to worry about how he was going to escape. Capture the God Eye descendants. Kill the rest. Ancient God, Profound Devil called out. The six of them began to form spells to control the indistinct energy above their heads. Buzz, BZZ, 3 belts of light, and 3 chains extended from the 2 sides of the energy. Capture the God-Eye descendants? The God-Eye descendants all grimaced. At this moment, they finally realized that ancient god Profound Devil's group had brought them to these ruins to capture them alive. As for what their ultimate goal was, they had no idea, but it was certainly nothing good. Kill without mercy. The Blazing Gold race members trembled, their eyes brimming with fear. Swish, swish, swish. The 3 chains and 3 belts of light extended from the indistinct energy toward the Blazing Gold race members and the God-Eye descendants. Run! A man targeted by one of the chains of the Blazing Gold race cried out in alarm and began to flee. No! Hurry and think of something. Lin Chengwu bellowed as he blinked away to avoid one of the belts of light. If they just dodged, they would definitely be annihilated by ancient god Profound Devil's group of 6. But no one present could do what ancient god Giant Spirit or the little thieving cat could do and stall for time with ancient god Profound Devil's group of 6. Illish, a belt of indistinct light swept toward Zhao Feng from an extremely tricky angle. Zhao Feng sensed it and used spatial blink to dodge. But by the time he appeared at the next location, the belt of light had already reached him. Zhao Feng, obediently surrender and come with us along with your pet. Ancient God Black Extreme savagely laughed. It turned out that the one controlling the belt of light to capture Zhao Feng was Ancient God Black Extreme. I didn't hand you over to the Blazing Gold race just now because you're one of our main targets. We can't let you die so easily. Ancient God Black Extreme added. Why do you want to capture me? I'm not a God-Eye descendant. Zhao Feng asked. Zhao Feng could think of a few reasons why they wanted to capture a God-Eye descendant, but why they wanted to capture him. You're not a God-Eye descendant, but you managed to cultivate your eye to the quasi-God-Eye level, and you're also the master of the Heaven's Legacy Cat. Your value is no less than that of a God-Eye descendant. Ancient God Black Extreme seemed determined to win and did not mind divulging this information. What? Quasi-God-Eye? The other God-Eye descendants were all stunned. This is impossible. Lin Chengwu and the beautiful young woman shook their heads, disbelief written all over their faces. Zhao Feng was far too young, and he wasn't even a descendant of one of the 8 great God-Eyes. So how did he manage to cultivate an ordinary eye bloodline to the quasi-God-Eye level? In addition, they had been in the same team as Zhao Feng, but they hadn't sensed the level of Zhao Feng's eye bloodline at all. An eye at the quasi-God-Eye level? Zhao Feng's expression froze for a moment. At this moment, he suddenly remembered that in the continent zone, when Sacred King Samsara's group of 5 used the God-Eye fusion art, the sudden involvement of his god spiritual eye had caused a major change. Perhaps at this moment, his god spiritual eye could do something. Swish! The seal around the dreamy silver ball in Zhao Feng's God-Eye dimension was torn apart. At the same time, Zhao Feng's eye suddenly brightened, flowing with light. His hair regained its dreamy silver luster and began to dance in the air like water. He sealed the power of his eye. Lin Chengwu was stunned. Previously, Zhao Feng's eye bloodline abilities were on par with his, so he had never imagined that Zhao Feng had sealed away a portion of his eye bloodline's abilities. Is it really a quasi-God eye? The other God-Eye descendants focused on Zhao Feng's left eye, as did ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6. Perhaps they had seen someone who had reached the quasi-God-Eye level before, but they had never seen an eye bloodline that had reached the quasi-God-Eye level. At this moment on the other side, in a moment of carelessness, a God-Eye descendant was entangled by a band of light. The indistinct band of light transformed into a layer of liquid that covered the God-Eye descendant's entire body. The God-Eye descendant was instantly immobilized as he was dragged back. Damn! The azure-robed elder cursed. The moment they relaxed, they would be entangled by the mysterious band of light, unable to escape. Compared to the God-Eye descendants, the Blazing Gold race had already lost 2 members. Zhao Feng, just give up. At a time like this, even if you use the true power of your eye, what use will it be? Ancient God Black Extreme jeered. Ooish. Although he was speaking, Ancient God Black Extreme never relaxed. He continued to control the Band of Light in an attempt to restrain Zhao Feng. However, Zhao Feng's movement technique was extremely brilliant. The Band of Light he was controlling was not enough to catch up to Zhao Feng. Perhaps it will work, Zhao Feng muttered. He was just trying. Even if it didn't work, he wouldn't lose anything. I'm ignorant. Ancient God Black Extreme coldly laughed. In all their years of cultivation, the God-Eye fusion art they used together had never been defeated by any power, unless it was an expert far stronger than them. Lend me your strength, Ancient God Black Extreme said to one of his Eye of Space-Time companions. Ancient God Black Extreme immediately sensed a profound space-time intent surging out from the Band of Light he was controlling. Haha, let's see where you can run this time. Ancient God Black Extreme's eyes focused. Ooish. The Band of Light sped up and fused into the void, piercing through it and arriving in front of Zhao Feng. That brat Zhao Feng is finished. The yellow-clothed youth from the Life Sacred Land whispered. The enemy was only using 3 bands of light to capture the God-Eye descendants, and he was the one they had temporarily neglected. The Band of Light was just about to wrap around Zhao Feng's body. At this moment, Zhao Feng's left eye finished preparing an eye bloodline technique. Origin Eye Flame. Zhao Feng's left eye locked onto the Band of Light, and a dreamy purple flame began to revolve around it. Haha, how foolish. Your strength is useless. Ancient God Black Extreme found Zhao Feng's actions to be laughable and foolish. But a moment later, he froze, his face frozen. Crack. A dreamy purple lightning flame exploded on the Band of Light in front of Zhao Feng. In a flash, the Band of Light twisted and swelled, ultimately transforming into several powerful intent energies that dissipated into the world. It really was useful. Zhao Feng's eyes brightened. He knew that ordinary attacks would have no effect on that mysterious power. Thus, after undoing the seal, Zhao Feng used a portion of his origin energy and fused it into his eye bloodline technique. Back in the continent zone, when the origin energy of his god's spiritual eye appeared, it instantly suppressed the origin energy of the other God-Eye descendants and became the leader of that powerful energy. This time, the eye bloodline technique fused with the origin energy of the god's spiritual eye was clearly effective against this mysterious energy. How could this be? Ancient God Black Extreme blurted out in shock. How could the energy they created through the God-Eye fusion art be destroyed? The energy of a God-Eye, Ancient God, Profound Devil, and the others were also flabbergasted. This was truly the first time they had seen something like this. Moreover, the energy Zhao Feng displayed just now had the same energy as the indistinct energy above their heads. On the other side, the God-Eye descendants and Blazing Gold race members were elated to see that Zhao Feng's attack was effective against that indistinct energy. They believed that their hopes had been dashed, but at this crucial moment, a glimmer of hope appeared. Zhao Feng, your eye bloodline is actually effective against their secret art. Zhao Feng, hurry and help us. Many people immediately began to plead for help from Zhao Feng. At this moment, Zhao Feng was their last hope for survival. Crack. Zhao Feng slightly leaned to the side and unleashed an eye bloodline technique. Nearby, the beautiful woman who had almost been wrapped up in the Band of Light used this chance to escape. In truth, Zhao Feng wasn't even willing to save these people. After all, there was no benefit in doing so, and they might even leak out his secrets. For example, the matter of the Heaven's Legacy cat, the precious treasure the little thieving cat had given to Zhao Feng before it was captured, and the secret of Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye. But getting out alive was the most important thing. So, Zhao Feng decided to save these people to increase the fighting power of his side. Thank you. The beautiful woman immediately approached Zhao Feng to ensure her safety. This time, everyone saw with their own eyes that Zhao Feng had destroyed that indistinct energy. God-Eye energy. The God Eye descendants were all stunned, and their expressions darkened. In the great danger they were in, and the situation was chaotic, they hadn't noticed this. But this time, everyone was staring at Zhao Feng, so they could clearly sense the God Eye energy exuded by Zhao Feng's eye bloodline technique. But no matter how dissatisfied they were with Zhao Feng, or how much they coveted the treasures in Zhao Feng's hands, or how curious they were about Zhao Feng's eye bloodline. But now, they needed to rely on Zhao Feng's strength to survive. Gradually, the others began to gather around Zhao Feng. But now, the God Eye descendants only had 5 people left, while the Blazing Gold race still had 4. Change the plan. Capture Zhao Feng first. Ancient God Profound Devil's face was ashen as he stared at Zhao Feng, his eyes cold and harsh. The others immediately nodded. They had never expected such an unforeseen event to occur in this mission. But even so, they would not fail, nor would they allow themselves to fail. The 2 indistinct bands of light that Zhao Feng had destroyed began to regrow. Moreover, these 3 bands of light began to rapidly attack Zhao Feng from 3 different directions. Chapter 13:13. Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 had given up on capturing the other God Eye descendants and focused on capturing Zhao Feng. 3 belts of light swept toward Zhao Feng from 3 different directions. Not good. They're planning to capture Zhao Feng first. The others instantly panicked at this sight. Zhao Feng was their only hope of survival. Once Zhao Feng was captured, they would once more be pushed back into desperate straits. Up until now, the only one capable of dodging the pursuit of 3 belts of light was the extremely mysterious thieving cat that ancient God Profound Devil had called the Heaven's Legacy Cat. Not even Lin Chengwu, who was skilled in space-time intent, dared to face those 3 belts of light. Thus, none of them could imagine how Zhao Feng could escape the pursuit of those 3 belts of light. We have to protect him. Ancient God Departed Spirit squeezed out these words. Although they were extremely unwilling, they had to do this. That's right. The rest of them nodded in agreement. Zhao Feng was their only hope in dealing with Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6. I didn't think it would turn out like this. Ancient God Gilded Gold had a complicated expression. The strongest member of the Blazing Gold race had been killed, and many of the other members had also been slaughtered. If they wanted to leave this place alive, they could only rely on the spiritual race's Zhao Feng. But while Ancient God Profound Devil's group was trying to capture Zhao Feng, clang, 3 illusory chains shot toward the crowd. Oh no! The remaining 4 members of the Blazing Gold race grimaced. But at this moment, they no longer had any hopes that Zhao Feng would save them. They could only rely on themselves. The God Eye descendants also ignored the Blazing Gold race. Death Light Wave, Destruction Light, Extreme Space Blade. All of them fiercely attacked the 3 belts of light that were wrapping around Zhao Feng. As long as they could delay them for a few moments, they could create a chance for Zhao Feng to escape. Swish! A spatial blur appeared around Zhao Feng, and then he blinked away. With the help of these people, I can directly attack Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6. Zhao Feng turned his gaze to Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6. Buzz! His left eye surged with eye intent and flashed with a dreamy ball of light. At this moment, Zhao Feng was like a huge star, emitting a terrifying aura. Earth-shaking explosion. Zhao Feng growled as a chaotic ball of dreamy light shot out of his left eye. Xiao! The moment the ball of light appeared, it flickered and disappeared. A moment later, it descended upon the defensive barrier in front of Ancient God Profound Devil's group. What a powerful eye technique. Ancient God Black Extreme's expression darkened. Normally, he wouldn't have been so worried, because no attack, no matter how powerful, would be able to overcome the power produced by the God Eye fusion. But Zhao Feng was different. His attacks could neutralize the energy of Ancient God Profound Devil's group. And if such a powerful attack was effective, its power would be extraordinary. But at this moment, the six of them were controlling the belts of light and chains to capture Zhao Feng and kill the others. They could no longer afford to do anything else. Boom! Bang! Ancient God Profound Devil's group of six suddenly felt a blinding light, so dazzling that they couldn't open their eyes. At the same time, a shock wave that pierced through both the physical and the soul slammed into their bodies. It actually broke through the defensive barrier. Ancient God Profound Devil's expression was extremely gloomy. Just what sort of energy is this? It can actually counter the combined origin energy of the six of us. His companion on the other side was still somewhat unwilling to believe what was happening. The slim woman with the Eye of Destiny hid behind them, her eyes closed. She had once used the Eye of Destiny on Zhao Feng, but not only did she not see anything, she even suffered a powerful backlash. She did not dare to use it again. In addition, even if the situation developed like this, they would not lose. Okay, the God Eye descendants with Zhao Feng were all stunned and excited. They had worked together twice before, but none of them had been able to harm Ancient God Profound Devil's group of six. But now, Zhao Feng had broken through their defenses and even wounded them. Swish! Swish! Zhao Feng's body flickered away, and with the help of the many God Eye descendants, he safely escaped the pursuit of the three belts of light. But at this moment, an explosion came from the other side. Rumble! Ancient God Gilded Gold's chest was pierced by a chain, and then his blazing body exploded. Zhao Feng, all of you will die here. Ancient God Gilded Gold's soul could not escape, and as it continued to wither away in pain, it cursed Zhao Feng and the others. As it turned out, the God Eye descendants were only helping Zhao Feng. The remaining four members of the Blazing Gold race were pursued by the chains and killed one by one. At this moment, all the members of the Blazing Gold race were dead. Zhao Feng, you've lost. Ancient God Black Extreme stared at Zhao Feng and sneered. Buzz. BZZ. The three chains next to the group slowly transformed into three belts of light. Everyone that needed to be killed had been killed, so all they needed to do now was carry out the capture plan. Not good. We're in danger. Damn, why didn't these Blazing Gold race trash last a little longer? The other God Eye descendants immediately cursed. Now that the Blazing Gold race was all dead, Ancient God Profound Devil's group would be able to focus on dealing with them. Everyone felt a chill run down their spines when they saw the six ribbons of light extending from the illusory ball of light. But in reality, Ancient God Profound Devil's group of six was also in an extremely bad situation. Their secret art had lasted for too long. Even though they had extremely precise and conservative control over that mysterious energy, it was starting to run out. If this continues, we won't have enough strength to capture the other God Eye descendants. The slim woman called out. The others all had gloomy expressions. They had never imagined that this mission would be so difficult. Then we'll just capture Zhao Feng and kill the rest. Ancient God Profound Devil had a vicious look on his face. Although the mission was to capture a God Eye descendant, as long as they didn't self-destruct, they would still be valuable even if they died. Okay, the other five agreed with Ancient God Profound Devil's plan. Buzz. BZZ. The six of them formed spells, controlling the six belts of light to wrap around Zhao Feng. What? They're only going to capture Zhao Feng? The God Eye descendants were stunned. They originally believed that once the Blazing Gold race member was killed, Ancient God Profound Devil's group would use their absolute advantage to capture the remaining five in one fell swoop. But at this moment, Ancient God Profound Devil's group was only focused on Zhao Feng, ignoring the others. Even so, they had nothing to be happy about. It's over. Zhao Feng definitely won't be able to escape this time. The beautiful girl had a pained look on her face. If Zhao Feng was captured, they would be next. But at this moment, a dark silver robe suddenly appeared on Zhao Feng's body. The silver and profound patterns on the robe glimmered as the robe was torn apart. Swish! Swish! With the space-time robe on, Zhao Feng could blink away with a thought. Moreover, He could blink away at such a fast speed that bystanders wouldn't even be able to react. At this moment, his figure seemed to be everywhere in the central hall. The space-time robe. Lin Xingwu's eyes went so wide that they almost fell out of their sockets. As an eye of space-time descended, he naturally knew of the supreme quality supportive divine artifact that was the space-time robe. It not only had its own dimension that could increase cultivation time, but it could also increase the level of the user's space-time intent and increase the power of space-time intent combat skills. Besides that, the space-time robe itself also had a few abilities that could be directly used, such as spatial blink and spatial barrier. This kid actually has the space-time robe. Everyone present cast envious gazes at Zhao Feng's supreme quality divine artifact. The space-time robe combined support, defense, and escape. It was extremely famous amongst supreme quality divine artifacts. We can't let him go. Ancient God Profound Devil immediately called out. Zhao Feng had far too many treasures on him. Some of them had to be handed over, but he could keep the space-time robe for himself. The other 5 immediately nodded and began to control the belts of light to surround Zhao Feng. Boom! Bang! Crash! Zhao Feng's figure could be seen everywhere in the central hall, as well as the furious trails of the belts of light. The central hall of this core area had long ago been destroyed beyond recognition. If not for the space-time robe, I would have already been captured. Zhao Feng muttered to himself in alarm. But even with the space-time robe, he still had to be extremely careful. The slightest carelessness would allow his opponent to find an opening. As he fled, Zhao Feng didn't even have a chance to use an eye bloodline technique. All of you, hurry and attack. Zhao Feng simply messaged the other God Eye descendants. At this moment, the only ones left were ancient God departed spirit, Lin Chengwu, the beautiful girl, and the azure-robed elder. Okay. The others reacted and nodded their heads. This is an excellent chance. Kill them. Ancient God departed spirits, eyes seethed with killing intent. Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 was focused on dealing with Zhao Feng, and they didn't have the protection of the barrier. The 6 of them probably didn't have much strength left. Whoosh! Whoosh! The 4 God Eye descendants charged at Ancient God Profound Devil's group. Their eyes rippled with eye intent as they prepared to unleash their strongest attacks on Ancient God Profound Devil's group. Ignorant, Ancient God Profound Devil's expression darkened as he glanced at the 4 and disdainfully said, "We won't lose." The others coldly muttered. All of them had absolute confidence in themselves, still pretending in the face of death. Ancient God Departed Spirit coldly snorted. Although Ancient God Profound Devil still had 6 people, using secret arts consumed too much energy. Once they stopped, they would have little fighting power. But a moment later, a weak spatial ripple appeared next to Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6. Then, 6 ice-cold black figures suddenly appeared. Their eyes were suffused with red light. Their bodies were covered in black steel armor, and their massive black swords exuded an astonishing pressure. These are Heaven's Legacy puppets. Ancient God Departed Spirit called out in alarm. How could this be? They still had this kind of trump card. Lin Xingwu's expression changed abruptly, becoming incomparably terrified. Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 each had a Heaven's Legacy race automaton, and the majority of these automatons exuded the pressure of a rank 7 Ancient God. However, the 2 automatons of Ancient God Profound Devil and Ancient God Black Extreme exuded the powerful energy of a rank 8 Ancient God. Just looking at these 2 automatons was enough to suffocate all of them. Are we doomed to die here? The beautiful girl was extremely unwilling. Even if she was a samsara immortal body, she would be useless in Ancient God Profound Devil's hands. Kill them. Ancient God Profound Devil coldly snorted as he gave the order. Clang! The 6 automatons all moved, the clanging and clanging of metal resounding in everyone's minds like the bell of death. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.